anticipation in the stadium here this morning, and the alarm clock did go off rather early. They call that cat time here at Northwestern. With Brian Greasy, I'm Steve Levy. We'll get to Todd McShay shortly. I don't want to say Northwestern coaches had an easy week, but they said they didn't have to get their team overly hyped. They know who's in town. It's Penn State, number 4 in the country. And the Heisman favorite and the best running back in the land is Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I think all that's left for Saquon Barkley to do is leap tall buildings in a single bound. Maybe that'll happen today here in Chicago. What would you do if I said you could have a back that had the feet of Barry Sanders, the speed and power of an Adrian Peterson, and then the hands of Marcus Allen? It's a pretty good start, right?
Try to keep him in college. That's what I tried to do.
We know he can run the ball. You can turn around and give it to him. The thing that's different this year, Steve, is he's catching the ball more out of the backfield. This was a big third down in the Iowa game, kept a drive alive. Get him the ball as much as you can on the perimeter. 16 catches just the last 2 games. I think you'll probably see more of that today. But, you know, he's ahead of Christian McCaffrey's pace 2 years ago when he set a single-season FBS record for all-purpose yards already this season.
And when McCaffrey came in here, Northwestern did a pretty good job of shutting him down, held him to 179 all-purpose yards, his lowest effort of the season. Interesting decision right off the bat. Northwestern's won the toss. They deferred. Penn State will receive, and last week it was Barkley taking the opening kick to what I like to call the house for a touchdown. They said they're going to try to kick it away from him, obviously.
That's a good idea. Pat Fitzgerald, not his first rodeo. Expect a lot of squib kicks, some of those pop-ups into the corner, and limit the touches for number 26.
Luke Otto will kick it away, and all eyes will be on 26 in white all afternoon. Again, Saquon Barkley, the Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week. The 98-yard kick return against Indiana. We are underway. And Barkley, 8 yards deep. He will take a knee. Down to the field, here's Mr. McShay.
Well, guys, you mentioned, Steve, the effort against Christian McCaffrey, and it really was unbelievable. It was the lowest total of that season in an upset win over Stanford. So when we talked to Coach Fitzgerald, the old linebacker came out in him. He was talking about the plan. RPOs, the run-pass options. Northwestern needs to do a great job of taking Barkley out and let McSorley run or throw the football. You've got to hold the edges. That was a big thing he was talking about. Listen, Saquon's a great runner inside and outside, but he's much more dangerous when he breaks to the outside. So those are 2 major keys, and when you hit him, make sure he feels it every single time.
First down and 10 from the 25. Here's Trace McSorley to throw. Under some pressure. Throws outside, able to hook up with Juwan Johnson. And now they're going to say no catch.
Yeah, for Trace McSorley today, he'll be fine with that strategy that Todd just outlined. Give me an opportunity to throw the ball against man-to-man coverage, against preferable looks on the outside. He's got the all-time leader in Penn State history in receptions in Deshaun Hamilton. Juwan Johnson is coming on. Plenty of weapons on the perimeter for Penn State outside of Barkley.
Second down and 10 after the incompletion. Across the middle, that one is caught out at the 30-yard line.
Well, McSorley, he does a great job with the run-pass options. Does a good job off of play action. I think where you can get to him is on the 3rd and longs when they know it's a passing down. Teams have had a lot of success. 4 of his 5 sacks a week ago were on 3rd and 6+.
Here's 3rd and 4. Barkley to the left of McSorley. Watch for Gesicki here on 3rd down. Throw it out and complete to Juwan Johnson. That's his first catch of the morning, and it will go for a first down, gain of 9 on the play.
You know, you mentioned Gesicki, Steve. He was injured in last week's game against Indiana, got hit by T. Gray's scales, and he was questionable coming into this game as you see a first down throw to Johnson. But Gesicki is a key to this offense, I think, in the middle of the field, and having him on the field is going to help McSorley.
All-time receptions leader at tight end, off the draw to Barkley. No one should be surprised at any point when they give the ball to Barkley.
Interesting approach right off the bat from Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator for Penn State, loosening this Northwestern defense up by throwing the ball the first 3 snaps. Then you give the ball to Barkley in the middle.
Second and 8 out of the 41. McSorley to his left. Little shovel pass to Barkley. And he is at the logo right at midfield. Nate Hall brought him down. And he has first down yardage.
Take a look at the middle linebacker. This is Patty Fisher. He's just a redshirt freshman. He's got tough duty today. He's going against one of the best backs in the last 10 years in college football. But Pat Fitzgerald is really excited about this young player. He's 6'4", 245 pounds. Keep an eye on that matchup with Barkley today.
On first down, McSorley looking left and throwing that way to Juwan Johnson. He's very close to the marker. And he will have the necessary yardage for the first down. Juwan Johnson, a guy who checks all the boxes, improved hands, and great work ethic. Sounds like all the ingredients right there. So across midfield now, out at the 42 of the Wildcats, off the play fake, and just too strong for Irvin Charles.
Take a look at what Penn State has done this season. Obviously, that game against Iowa, everybody remembers. They didn't have such a great day in the red zone. That was my biggest concern with Penn State coming into this game, was they had a ton of yards, over 500 yards, and on the ground they ran the ball well, but they struggled inside the red zone. Only had 13 points going up to that last second touchdown. They got to be better in the red zone today on the road.
Here's McSorley to throw to the right. That is over the head of Saeed Blacknall. And again, they are throwing into the wind on this opening possession. The wind figures to be a big factor here this afternoon.
And this is the situation that Todd was mentioning. 3rd and longs, 4 sacks of McSorley last week. This is where this Northwestern defense, they've got to find some more consistent pass rush up front. They haven't been the best. Only 6 sacks on the year.
Penn State has run 8 plays so far. Figure they're going to hand it off to Barkley all the time. They passed 7 times out of the 8. Trying to keep it for the first down. Nothing doing there. Warren Long brought him down. It'll bring up a 4th down situation.
It's a great effort from Warren Long coming from the weak side. Here he is. And if Warren Long doesn't get to McSorley there, this is a first down, Steve. It's great effort by Long.
They're going to go for it. Keep the offense on the field. They have definitely had some field goal issues this season. We'll get into that as the morning turns into the afternoon with Tyler Davis. This is 4th down and 8. 5 seconds to snap it. They get it away. Here's McSorley under pressure. He'll run for it and only pick up a few. Nate Hall able to bring him down. And they'll turn it over on downs. That's how Northwestern will get the football for the first time.
Great open field tackle by Nate Hall. And this is exactly what Pat Fitzgerald wants. Don't let the ball get in the hands of number 26. Give him some room up front. Let McSorley try to run and make a first down, come up and make the sure-handed tackle.
Yeah, Fitzgerald said he'll be the guy on the sideline cheering every play that Barkley doesn't get the football. And that was a good example of it. They needed 8 and they got 1. So here's Northwestern on first down and 10. And the handoff to Justin Jackson. He's been banged up a little bit, but he's apparently good to go at a good week of practice. They're led by their quarterback, Clayton Thorson, the junior from nearby Wheaton, Illinois.
And if Northwestern's going to pull the upset here at home today, Clayton Thorson has to play just about perfect on this side of the ball. He's not going to have as much time to throw the football. This offensive line's been banged up.
Throws a bullet right there on the money to Flynn Nagel across midfield.
I think that was a good start for Thorson. A big issue with him is he's lost trust sometimes in his protection. And there are times where his head's starting to drop and he's not trusting his protection and bailing too early or holding on to the ball too long there. Really good timing, felt the rush coming, avoided, extended the play, and made a nice throw.
Thorson able to complete across the middle to Jackson out of the backfield for the short gain. That lack of trust or feeling that way, Todd, is understandable. Thorson was sacked 8 times last week in that loss to Wisconsin. And for the course of the season, he's been sacked the 6th most in the nation. So he admitted some of that's on him.
Yep, getting rid of the ball quicker.
The offensive line is banged up like every other offensive line in the nation. 2nd and 5. Thorson to throw, airing one out, had a man, and got twisted around. Bennett Skowronek couldn't get turned around the right way. Had him, though.
Yeah, missed opportunity. You see Skowronek is about 5 yards beyond Christian Campbell, the corner. Very well-designed play from Mick McCall, and you gotta connect there. Thorson has to throw a little bit more catchable ball, and Skowronek, you could have made that play.
Here's 3rd down and 5 and a chance to keep Barkley off the field.
It's worth mentioning up front for Northwestern. You mentioned that offensive line. They're starting for the first time at right tackle Andrew Otterman, coming off of a concussion. Wouldn't be surprised if they bring some pressure on him. Sharif Miller, the defensive end 48, is the best pass rusher for Penn State.
Thorson going to keep it. He'll take on some people, but not until he has 1st down yardage. Marcus Allen, one of the big hitters in that Penn State secondary, came up to put the pop on him. Gain of 6 on the play.
This is the most underrated aspect of Clayton Thorson's game. He's not a burner, but he can get some yards for you. You want to go down a little bit better than that. You don't want to take that kind of a shot.
1st down and 10. Out at the 31. I beg your pardon, 36 at Penn State. Handoff. Jeremy Larkin is the ball carrier. His first carry of the game. He'll pick up a few.
Tackle by Parker Cochran.
They go 3 strong in the backfield with Jackson, Larkin, and then we'll see some John Moten as well. Larkin stays in there after the gain of 2. I caught Boston and Montana. I missed the middle one. Hand it off on the jet sweep to Riley Lee's trying to turn the corner. Bring up a 3rd down. Grant Haley made the stop. Excellent ESPN, ABC audio from the field today.
These 3rd downs here, I think this is where you need to get the ball to Garrett Dickerson. He's right here in the slot. He's their super back. An excellent game a week ago against Wisconsin. Made a bunch of plays, a touchdown catch. He's the one mismatch I think Northwestern has against this Penn State defense in this game.
3rd down and 8 from the 34. Pressure coming. And it's batted away at the line of scrimmage. Kevin Givens got the hands up to knock down the Thorson play.
They were trying to set up the screen, which is a good call there in that situation. It's a nice job by Givens and a little cross dog up front by Kabinda. I think Northwestern's going to go for here, much like Penn State did on the first drive.
Northwestern 5 for 8 on 4th down attempts this season. Jackson in the backfield. Here's Thorson to throw. Across the middle, strong arm, has a man. 1st down yardage and then some. He's inside the 10-yard line. Macon Wilson, the gain of 24.
That's the timing you look for, of course. Talked about it, really focused on that this week. Get the ball out quickly, trust your reads, and trust your arm. And that's what he did there. Really impressive, Brian.
Yeah, and he saw the 4-strong blitz from the field, didn't panic, knew he had time, hit his back foot and let that ball go, and that's the best way to beat the blitz.
We've seen 2 4th and 8s so far. Penn State didn't get theirs. Northwestern able to convert. And on 1st down and 10, back to the line of scrimmage. There's a flag down on the play. Justin Jackson, the ball carrier.
Take a look at this last throw from Clayton Thorson. Let it roll, guys. You can see blitz from Kabinda and one more coming to the left side. Don't panic. Just stand in there and release the ball on time. Accurate throw. It's well done. It's not well done by this offensive line getting called for holding here on 1st down. But when you make that many changes, not only are they having Otterman start at right tackle, but they have Blake Hance starting at left tackle, J.P. Butler at left guard. They've made all kinds of changes up front, and it's going to take some time for these guys to gel.
So they're 1st and goal and out at the 20-yard line after the penalty yardage. Pressure up the middle. Thorson feels it all the way. The sack from Curtis Cawthron, the 5th-year senior out of Newtown, Pennsylvania.
Well, we talk about that offensive line here, gelling, being on the same page. Hance, the left tackle. You got to block down on the first defensive lineman. He's inside. He's the most dangerous. And he and Butler just not on the same page between guard and tackle.
Loss of 8. You don't often see 2nd and goal from the 28.
Well, if you're Clayton Thorson here, you got to bring your experience to the table, realize that really now you're playing for a field goal opportunity.
Handoff. Jackson Ryan Buchholz came up to make the stop, his first, and a bring up a 3rd down and goal.
Tackled by Ryan Buchholz.
Charlie Kubander is the field goal kicker. He is a true freshman.
No game on the play. 3rd down.
He's got a 40-yarder to his credit this season. This would be about 45, 46. Here's 3rd and goal.
You just want to get maybe 6, 7, 8 yards and give them a chance.
Thorson throws a jump ball. The 50-50 ball is won by Penn State. Interception. Amani Oruwariya able to make the pick. His 3rd of the season.
That's not what you want to do, right? You give yourself a chance to get points on your first drive. This is a hope throw. And I understand there's some 50-50 balls. There's a difference between a 50-50 ball and a hope throw. That play never had a chance.
Thorson was hit as he released. It goes as an interception. They convert the 4th and 8 and have nothing to show for it. Back in Evanston, Illinois. Can still say good morning here in the Chicagoland area. And in essence, it serves as a pretty good punt as Penn State opens up 1st down and 10 from their own 10-yard line. With Saquon Barkley, didn't see much from him on their opening possession here up the middle. He's very close to a 1st down. The reason they're down at the 10-yard line was a mistake by Clayton Thorson.
I think they're worried about the rush here. They're keeping the back in here. When you let this roll, normally when you have this kind of a play, you're going to have some kind of an outlet, right? Because there's nobody open down here. There's not open, that's not open, that's not open. But you want your back to get out. So part of this is design, right? And part of it is trying to account for Sharif Miller. There was nowhere for him to go with that ball.
Nick Sorley will keep it on the ground. He is pounded down at about the 19-yard line. Very close to the 1st down marker. With 3rd down and short.
You mentioned the right tackle woes for Northwestern, but Penn State has similar right tackle questions. They have had 3 guys rotating in at that right tackle position. You see Chaz Wright, number 77. He's been in there. He's had some ankle issues. Andrew Nelson's played some in there, but he's banged up with a knee. And then we'll see the redshirt freshman in Will Fries, but they have to get that position figured out on this team.
3rd down and 1. Give it to Barkley. Forget about it. Nothing doing. Goes for a loss. Nate Hall and Patty Fisher right in the middle. Stop him. Not a chance.
If Barkley has a weakness, it's that he loves bouncing runs to the outside. On that run with a short distance, you just want to pound it inside. He was looking to make a cut and dance somewhere. By the time he made that first cut, the defense just swarmed.
Yeah, well, Nate Hall got in the backfield, Todd, and that was a poor block by Jonathan Holland. The tight end just got beat to the inside. But credit these linebackers for Northwestern. You know that Pat Fitzgerald takes pride in coaching those guys up, and Nate Hall and Patty Fisher have come to play already.
Lake Gillikin from his 4 will put it in the air. Flynn Nagel will let it bounce, and it crosses midfield. And Northwestern will open the next possession with excellent field position. Still scoreless from Evanston.
College football on ABC is presented by Walmart. Walmart. Save money. Live better. And in part by Chevy, the only brand to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs 2 years in a row.
John Cappelletti, the only Heisman Trophy winner in school history for Penn State. They've had some great running backs come through. They hope to have another one. It's Saquon Barkley, who, if nothing else, has spun the conversation in a favorable light about the Nittany Lions and their football program.
I don't think they hope to have another one. They have another one. They hope they have a Heisman winner potentially.
Yeah, that's what I meant, right. On 1st down and 10, here's Justin Jackson. Speaking of great running backs, he says, hey, don't forget about me, Greasy.
All week, everybody's been talking about Saquon Barkley, and Justin Jackson has just been kind of waiting in the wings, saying, okay, you can talk about him, but I got 4,000 career yards as well, 4 straight 1,000-yard season he's going for, and he's 2nd in the FBS among active running backs in rush yards, so very capable young man, and he has to have a big day. When they won 2 years ago, he had over 180 yards on the ground, Steve. He has to have a big game.
There is a flag down. That run went for 29. We'll see if that will stand. I thought I saw one of the players signaling for a face mask, but that wasn't the official. That was one of the players. Mike Cannon's our referee. It is. It is face mask. It is against Northwestern. The flag was thrown down at the 12-yard line. Here's the call.
Personal foul, face mask. Offense number 21. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. It still results in a first down.
Don't often see the face mask called against the ball carrier.
No, I didn't see the end of it here. Let's see if we can figure out. Obviously, it's going to be a stiff arm of some sort. Now, you can stiff arm. You just can't keep your hand on there and then pull around. You got to release it, and I think that's the right call. If you're going to put that hand on there, that's legal, but you can't keep it there.
So that wipes out the 29-yard gain and pushes Northwestern back to the 42. Jackson will try it again, just back to the line of scrimmage. We check in for the first time with Cassidy Hubbard. All right, Cassidy, thank you. Keep us posted on everything going on around the country for the top 5 in action at this very hour. A whole lot of heavy favorites today. Good defensive play. Trying to get it to Flynn Nagel. Grant Haley with an arm in the air came up to make the excellent defensive play.
And Brian, they're not showing a lot of respect to these wide receivers for Northwestern. A lot of press coverage, man-to-man, getting up in their faces, and you can understand why.
Yeah, they have not been explosive at that position, Todd. They're going to have to find some way, whether it's some bunch routes or rub routes, to beat man-to-man.
3rd and 9 from the Penn State 41. Trying to keep the drive alive. Force it. Hit as he throws. Ball is loose. And we'll see what the call is. It does look like a fumble recovered by Penn State. Ryan Buchholz, the second Northwestern turnover of the afternoon. Shakatoni popped it free.
Yeah, Shakatoni just rushing off the edge. Hands starting at that left tackle position. That's just textbook. He gives a stiff arm there into Hance. Now the question is, was that ball coming forward? I think the ruling on the field is proper to call this a fumble so you don't take it away. But I think they're going to have to take a look at this because the arm was coming forward and the ball did go forward as well. Shakatoni is a part of a burgeoning pass rush for Penn State. They've got 3 or 4 really good young players in Tony, Eater, Gross, Matos, Sharif Miller, and Shane Simmons.
The previous play was a fumble recovered by the defense. That play is under further review.
They will take a look. And while they're doing that, we'll step out. We'll come back with the answer. Is that a fumble in Penn State football? Or is that merely an incomplete pass? Ruling on the field stands. No conclusive evidence to overturn it. It's a fumble and it's Penn State football.
Yeah, I think you could see the ball was starting to get loose in Clayton's hand before he started to come forward. I think that was the right call on the field.
Turnovers have been an issue for Northwestern. Forson now has thrown the interception and has fumbled. Penn State takes over. Excellent field position from their own 48. Here's McSorley to come out firing and completing to Saeed Blacknall. He has first down yardage, gain of 12 on the play.
Where this composure of this Northwestern defense has to come into play here. You've gotten a stop on the first 2 drives of Penn State offensively so far in this game, and now you're sudden change inside the 50-yard line. You've got to stand up and get another stop.
Just over 3 minutes to play in this first quarter. Saquon Barkley has carried the ball just 3 times for 7 yards. And that pass is a catch at the 38-yard line. It's Juwan Johnson. Second down and 8. Fake to Barkley. And McSorley takes one hit and then a second hit. Sam Newton-Miller able to make the big pop there to bring up a third down.
And that's exactly how Pat Fitzgerald wants his defense to play. Take away the most dangerous threat, that's Barkley. And so Sam Miller comes up and just takes Barkley and leaves McSorley for the rest of the defense. It's well played.
Can you outthink yourself here? Because everyone's expecting Barkley on every touch. So you don't want to do that because that's what the defense is expecting. But then you're hurting yourself by not giving the best player on the planet the ball.
Exactly. But that's the right game plan for Northwestern defensively. Now Joe Moorhead's got to make the adjustment. 3rd and 11.
McSorley under some pressure. He'll dump it down. Off to Deshaun Hamilton. Makes the nice move, and he's got first down yardage. First catch of the day for Deshaun Hamilton. Gain of 20 for the Penn State career reception leader.
And this is where Trace McSorley is at his best and most dangerous. You got to respect his legs, and Patty Fisher's in good position. He's got to come up and make the tackle, and as soon as he does, Trace McSorley just dumps it over his head for a big first down.
Good penetration here for Penn State out of the 21-yard line of the Wildcats. Off the play fake. Here's McSorley throwing. He's intercepted. There are flags down on the field. It is picked off by Montre Hardage. And we'll see if it stands. 2 flags down inside the 5-yard line. And we'll check the markers.
Pat Fitzgerald's about to lose his mind. Not one of the calls in this first quarter has gone his way. He's got to keep his composure, though. He's one of the best in the business. And when these calls start to go against you, can't let it affect your team.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
3rd critical penalty against Fitzgerald's Wildcats.
You want Montre Hardage to be physical on the outside. He's going against a bigger wide receiver in Johnson. He gets away with the hold there. They could have called holding right off the bat. And they get him with pass interference, and that's exactly the right call.
Hardage had 5 interceptions a season ago to lead the team. Has just 1 so far this season. But they'll move the football now just outside the 5-yard line of Northwestern. And it's 1st and goal, 90 seconds left. Scoreless first quarter. 4th-ranked Penn State looking to get on the board. Barkley trying to turn the corner. Tripped up at the 11, and he'll lose a bunch. Goodwin Igwebuike able to make the stop.
That's all part of the game plan. And so is giving up some man-to-man throws, whether it's a pass interference or completion. But they're doing a great job executing the game plan, a big part of which is holding the edge. Great job in terms of outside contain, and don't let Saquon Barkley get outside.
Maybe Barkley didn't get the wake-up call. 4 carries for 3 yards so far. Here's 2nd down and goal. Not much more there. It's another loss. Trent Goins comes up to make the stop. 3rd and goal. They're getting after Barkley.
Well, you're going to see they're not blocking. They're trying to read the defensive end, and there is no read because those defensive end are being told, you go after 26. There's no question about it. So Joe Moorhead, you got to make the adjustment. You either block that up on the outside and hand it to 26 or throw it to him in the pass game.
3rd and goal. Penn State's going the wrong way. Push back to the 8-yard line. Play fake. Here's McSorley to throw. Has a man wide open at the 5, able to complete to Juwan Johnson. He's short of the goal line. It's Hardage again, able to push him out. That's a gain of 8 yards, but it will be 4th down and goal. And we'll see where they spot it. We'll look at spotted at about the 4-yard line.
Well, Steve, this is exactly how Iowa played Penn State, right? They were successful in red zone defense, not allowing touchdowns. They only had led 1 touchdown on 4 trips all the way up until the last play of that game and held them to 13 offensive points. You can give up the yards, all the yards you want to Barkley and McSorley if you keep them out of the end zone in the red zone.
Northwestern has spent a timeout here with 14 seconds left in the first quarter. More great college football for you coming up tonight. Michigan State and Michigan, 7:30 Eastern on ABC. Stream it live on the ESPN app. kind of like Sean McDonough week when you get Michigan and Michigan State together. That great call on that wild ending from a couple of years ago. And only the 4th night game ever at the Big House, and the first time those two will hook up in prime time. That'll be fun to watch tonight.
McDonough and Gruden here in town for the Bears-Vikings Monday nighter as well. But going back to the timeout there by Pat Fitzgerald, people may wonder why. He's trying to make sure that if they kick a field goal and the kickoff, they want to have the wind at their back. This wind is gusting, and it makes a big difference in terms of field position.
That's a great point, Todd.
It's going to be a 21-yard field goal attempt by Tyler Davis. He is just 5 of 11 on the season. He's had a couple of kicks blocked. On the way, and that is good. He's already missed a 21-yard field goal this season. He's good that time. The sack and the fumble leads to 3 points and the field goal.
Let's take a look at how Northwestern so far in this game has tried to control Saquon Barkley. They've brought pressure on the edge, secondary players. This is Chiaro, comes up, forces McSorley to keep the ball, and then they get long from behind. More secondary players and linebackers. Nate Hall this time, forcing McSorley to keep the ball. And we mentioned it, Pat Fitzgerald wanted every single defensive play. Whenever it wasn't number 26 with the ball in his hand, he's going to be on the sideline like this. Good defense, boys.
Haven't seen him clapping that much. He's been out of his mind an awful lot. Penn State has now outscored their opponents 76-0 in the first quarter. They've been dominant, but here it's just a 3-0 game in the final seconds now.
This is kind of the way that Northwestern played Wisconsin last week. They played 3 really solid quarters of football against Wisconsin, and they just let down in the third quarter, gave up 24 unanswered points. But if they're able to play 4 quarters, they can stick around with Penn State.
That's really what you want to do. Hang around into the fourth quarter and make for an ending. Wildcats have been really hurt by 3 penalties for 40 yards. But I have to think you told Northwestern it's going to be 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. You'd probably take that. Here's Riley Lees trying to return one for Northwestern. He's out to about the 24-yard line.
Riley Lees on the return.
Coming up this afternoon, it's Miami and Florida State. That was the game rescheduled after the devastation of Hurricane Irma. And the first non-primetime game between these teams since 2011. Then the nightcap. Top-ranked Alabama at Texas A&M. Alabama's just blown the doors off of everyone they have played. See how they do at College Station tonight. Think A&M gives them a ball game tonight?
No.
I see. In a word, no. You're not the best color guy in the league for nothing. On first down and 10, Flynn Nagel.
Pass is complete to Flynn Nagel.
Able to complete, and there's still a second left in this first quarter.
See this, that's impressive. The only team in college football that has not given up that first quarter point. It's impressive.
Again, it's only 3-0 here. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Here we go, here we go!
Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. The place is filled up rather nicely on a lovely Saturday afternoon here in Evanston, Illinois. As we open up quarter number 2, Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay. Quick out to McGowan. Kyrick McGowan on the short game from Clayton Thorson.
Talking with Brent Pry, the defensive coordinator of Penn State yesterday, he felt like he's got a very veteran defense. 7 seniors are starting in this secondary, led by Jason Cabinda, number 40, the linebacker. He's the heart and soul of this defense, the guy to get everybody lined up. He's not the fastest player in the world, but he's gotten faster, Pry said, in the offseason, as has most of the secondary.
3rd and 5. Pressure on Thorson. He'll roll out of it, and he'll throw it away. Was being chased down by a host of players.
When I watched this defense on film against Iowa, Indiana, I noticed that speed. Coming off the edge, obviously Miller Cam Brown, number 6, is a redshirt freshman, sophomore linebacker. There is more speed on this Penn State defense than there was a year ago, and I think they're better because of it.
Hunter Nicewander is back at his 15-yard line. And he misses the punt. And a flag goes down. That punt went out. I mean, he just missed it. Let's see where they spot it. They're going to spot it at the 42 of Northwestern. That'll go as a 13-yard punt if it stands.
I think the appropriate word is shanked. Nicewander came in averaging 46 yards a punt. That was
During
second in the Big Ten.
Holding. Receiving team number 11. 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Penn State.
Nicewander really struggled last week with an average of just 39 yards, but prior to that had been among the best in the country.
You know, sometimes when it's really windy out, that you can drop that ball as a punter and the ball moves. So, you know, you got to make the adjustment if you're punting and not drop it as far, but almost kick it straight out of your hands. I experienced that when I was, pooch punting. I was such a bad punter that I was a good pooch punter, but the wind can be a factor in the drop.
That was into the wind. I always remember Sean Landetta. That was the famous one. I think that was in Chicago against the Bears. Went to drop it down, and the ball went just flying. Missed. First down and 10 for Penn State. McSorley fakes the Barkley. Now we'll throw man wide open. DeAndre Tompkins got plenty of yardage. Out to the 32-yard line. It's a gain of 19.
You have the best player in college football that you can fake play action to. It's going to have sting in the secondary. What I really like about Joe Moorhead and this system is they have the RPOs. Everybody has RPOs nowadays, but they marry it with the West Coast style of route running, which is a little bit different than what other spread teams run around the country. It's been very effective for Trace McSorley over the past year and a half.
RPO, run pass option, of course. Who didn't know that?
Nice job.
First down and 10 from the 33. Here's McSorley out firing and completing to Brandon Polk. His first catch of the day. Nate Hall made the stop.
Talk about the impact of Joe Moorhead last couple of years. You see the difference that he's made. They were not very good offensively in 2015, as you can see, and he's had an immediate impact in State College in offense.
Second down and 4. McSorley to throw. Good pocket. Has a man wide open. It's Polk again. And he dances inside the 5-yard line. Somebody missed on something there. Brandon Polk was all by himself.
And this is just what we're talking about, the West Coast style. This is just a corner route. You're going to clear out with Tompkins over the top, and then the corner route comes in right behind it. And that's a staple for this Penn State. You see Gesicki catch it quite a bit because Gesicki's a little bit gimpy. They're using other players.
Polk had one catch in his last 3 games combined. Here he's got a couple in a row. And the running game not there. Barkley is dropped by Patty Fisher.
He is escorted to the right field turn by Patty Fisher.
We talked about Patty Fisher at the start of this game and the matchup between he and Saquon Barkley. And it doesn't really matter what year you are, redshirt freshman, whatever, you got to come back and make a play. And that's exactly what Pat Fitzgerald says. Get there, go eat. Don't dance around with Barkley. He'll make you look silly.
Tommy Stevens now is in a quarterback. He is a backup quarterback with McSorley out there and Barkley. And they're throwing, and they're completing for a touchdown. That's Stevens out of the backfield. Trace McSorley to his backup quarterback, Tommy Stevens, for the touchdown.
We expected to see Tommy Stevens in this game. We didn't expect him to catch a touchdown pass, but you see the creativity of Joe Moorhead putting him in. He's such a good athlete, 6'5", 230 pounds. And you put him in there, and nobody's expecting you to throw the football to him, and he's wide open for the touchdown. You see Moorhead give him a big bear hug.
Extra point on the way. For Tommy Stevens, it's his second receiving touchdown of the season.
You got Barkley, Gesicki, Hamilton. Why not just throw it to the backup quarterback?
Why not? 10-0. Nittany Lions. You're watching the Big Ten on ABC on a glorious soon-to-be Saturday afternoon as we approach noontime, local time here in Evanston, Illinois. And they're the Big Cats Griller, grilling up something special today. The Big Cats Bacon Donut Burger. I'm told it may also include chili, like it needed chili also. Penn State with a 10-0 lead. And after the kickoff, Northwestern will get the football and try to get on the scoreboard. And while they do, we'll say hello to our friend Chris here. Chris, tell us about these creations that are exclusively for today in homecoming.
Well, we had to open something special for the homecoming game, so we have the Big Cats Bacon Donut Burger. So we have an Angus burger here with some cheddar cheese, bacon, fried egg, bit of bacon jam, and some donuts from our local friends from Buttercrumb Bakery.
Go ahead, Greasy.
Oh, my God. So, Chris, how do you do that? You just take a big bite of that thing?
Yeah, squish it and go for it.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I don't think I can do that.
Hey, we might miss a play.
Can you call a play with your mouth full?
Justin Jackson on the receiving end there. Go ahead, Grease. You take a shot.
I can't do
And it's got a little football.
I got to get my microphone
as
out
well.
of the way.
Okay, that's just the donut part. What roughly calories in this particular item
We're
are?
not even going to guess.
Okay.
It's homecoming. We're not worried about it. It's like Christmas, right?
And the cost of this for the guy who walks up to your stand?
$10.
$10?
$10,
It's a deal. There you go.
Levy, since when are you worried about counting calories?
Hey, McShay.
He only wants the one with chili in it, Todd.
Now hold the chili on mine.
One bite. Everybody knows the rules.
Everyone
okay?
knows the rules.
Runner was short of the line to gain. The play is under further review.
Are you good at doing reviews too, Chris? Can you take a look at this and let us know is it first down or not?
I spend most of my time behind the grill, so I can tell you how the burger is doing.
Hey, thank you for coming by.
Yeah, man.
And thank you for being creative. Greasy, pay the man. Give the man some money.
Oh, man.
No.
Marty, you got any money?
Thanks for coming by.
All right, enjoy, guys.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. Dude. So, question at hand here is whether he got the first down. They throw the little swing pass out with Justin Jackson. Great effort by Cabinda. You can see Justin Jackson. He's struggling a little bit. He hasn't been completely healthy, Steve.
Running on the field is confirmed. Second down.
He's been dealing with a knee. He's had that all season and doesn't have quite the burst that we traditionally see from Justin Jackson.
Yeah, right now I can see the donut sugar on my fingers. That's what I can see right now. So, it's not just for breakfast anymore, Grease. It's lunchtime. And as you said, Northwestern, they were going to try to eat, not dance, go after Barkley. They've done a good job shutting down Barkley and still find themselves trailing by 10-0 on second down and short. It's Justin Jackson. Going to bring up a third and shorter.
You know, last year this Penn State defense had so many injuries at the linebacker position. Cabinda missed quite a few games. They really got going when they played Ohio State and they got Cabinda back. But now they have depth up front in the front seven at all positions.
Give it to Jackson. Nice little shift to pick up the first down and more. Excellent second effort for Justin Jackson. Gets 11.
Yeah, Jason Cabinda was free in the hole and just misses Justin Jackson. Give Jackson some credit. A little move at the end. Right there. It's Marcus Allen, the safety, number 2 as well. That's the best 2 defenders on Penn State's team, and Jackson went right by him.
Cabinda had 14 tackles in the 45-14 win against Indiana a week ago. Jeremy Larkin checks into the backfield now to the left of Clayton Thorson. Here's Thorson throwing off the play fake. And the quick inside slant. It's a pickup of 2 on the play.
Skoranek is continuing to have trouble getting off the line of scrimmage. Christian Campbell, big corner, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's playing press man most of this game, and you have to find ways to get off the line of scrimmage if you're Northwestern's receivers.
Second and 8. Thorson has a man crossing the middle.
It's another good play there by Christian Campbell. You know, John Reed was going to be the starting corner. He had an ACL in the spring And Christian Campbell kind of stepped up in his place, and he has played excellent football through the course of the first 5 games.
3rd down and 4 after the grab by Dickerson out of that super back position. Love to ask you about that if we get a chance. 3rd and 4. Just across midfield for the Wildcats. Here's Thorson, steps up and throws. It's Dickerson, and he has 1st down yardage. Looks like he juggled for a second, but he does play the super back position. There is no tight end on the roster.
Yep, and it's just a little arrow route. He goes out and then comes back in. Watch this catch. Arouarier came charging hard. The ball was thrown on the back shoulder. And like I said earlier, Garrett Dickerson has been the most consistent receiver on this Northwestern team through the first 4 games.
And everybody's terminology is different.
Yep.
Superback.
Superback, you know, is an H-back. But he's a blocker, end-of-line tight end. He's a receiver, whatever you need him to be. He's like a Swiss Army knife.
Can do it all. Here's Justin Jackson trying to make some moves. He'll be short of the 1st down.
You know, going back to Dickerson, Ryan, I think this guy can play in the NFL. I mean, I think he has that kind of skill set. I don't know what he's going to run, jump, and all that stuff, but the versatility, NFL teams looking for guys that are matchup pieces in the passing game, and the ability to block, too. He just brings so much to the table.
Well, if you can block and you can catch, you're going to play in the NFL. It's as simple as that. And there's always going to be a spot for guys that can do that because you're involved in the run game and the pass game, Todd.
Everybody wanted Dickerson coming out of high school. Ohio State, Alabama, Michigan all wanted him. Northwestern had a bit of an edge. They had his older brother on their roster. And he came to Evanston.
You know, this is going to be kind of the way that Northwestern has to play offense in this game. They're not very explosive, and that's okay. But if you're not going to be explosive, then you almost have to be perfect. You can't go backwards. You can't have penalties. They've had a number of those already. You can't have turnovers. They've had that already with Thorson and the fumble. You've got to convert. This is the area, Steve, where Clayton Thorson's legs have to come into play in 3rd and 4.
9 turnovers in the first 4 games. They've had 2 more here this afternoon. Handoff. Going to be well short of the 1st down. Marcus Allen stepped up to fill the hole along with Shane Simmons.
When Marcus Allen, the safety, is making a play from that depth, Steve, what does that tell you? That tells you got to throw the football, right? The safety's 4 yards off the line of scrimmage. If Northwestern's going to convert these 3rd downs, Thorson's got to throw it down the field.
You know me, I'd take a shot here.
4th down. That's a good plan.
4th and 3. Catch him by surprise.
No safety. There's no safety.
Exactly. On point. Little option. Thorson's going to keep it and lose a ton. Shane Simmons ran him down. He wasn't buying the fake. And they'll turn it over on downs. Penn State with excellent field position. Their defense holds. Able to stop the Wildcats on 4th down. The start of a tasty afternoon. Go get him, Grease.
That was not very good. I didn't get much meat there.
College football on ABC, presented by Walmart, is brought to you by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. And Audi.
He is Mr. Northwestern. He is Pat Fitzgerald, great player, inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Of course, great player at Northwestern, and now a tremendous coach. And he is linked with Chris Collins, the basketball coach. They have both signed some 10-year extensions to make sure the continuity is in place. And the sack. Sam Duke Miller comes up with the sack. And a big Northwestern play, and Collins will appreciate that. The basketball team being honored and wearing pink today in honor of breast cancer awareness. Of course, actress Julia Louis-Dreyfus recently coming out.
Also in the past 2 games of getting him the football in the passing game, 16 receptions just in the last 2 games.
Late add-on onto the field for that Northwestern defense. Here's McSorley. He's got a good pocket to work with across the middle. Fires it in there for the 1st down to Deshaun Hamilton. And his forward progress will give him the first down. There is an injured Wildcat on the field.
That looks like Jared McGee, a backup safety. It's an excellent job by Trace McSorley, standing tall in the pocket, going through his progressions. That play took some time, and on a third down and long, that's what you got to do. Be patient and throw the ball in his own coverage.
McSorley's hit his last 9. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Evanston. Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, said the biggest development for Trace McSorley in the offseason has been his confidence in going through his reads. Take a look at his vision here, looking left, going to his first progression, that's covered. Then he comes back down to McSorley, the second read, he's covered, and a good pocket allows him to step into this throw to Deshaun Hamilton and get a big first down conversion. That's been the progression that I've seen on tape from number 9 from Penn State.
Again, McSorley has been 9 for 9, and now will hand it off. Saquon Barkley, the ball carried for a short gain, and back to Cassidy. Cassidy balancing out the broadcast today. She went to Northwestern. The booth is Penn State heavy with legendary Marty Aronoff and Ben Boma standing to our left. Good to have Cassidy balancing things out, the Evanston native. On second down and 10, here's McSorley. Ducks the head, makes the move, and he'll slide down.
You know, this is a big game for McSorley because we've really never seen Saquon Barkley get completely shut down like he has been today. And for McSorley to step up, knowing that he has to throw the ball and run the ball to win and be able to be effective as he has been so far in his first half, if he maintains this, he can gain a lot of confidence from this performance.
You know, Todd, I looked at the stats from last year. There were 5 games where Penn State was held under 75 yards rushing. In 4 of those, McSorley had 300 yards plus passing. But only one of them they lost against Michigan, and that's where McSorley was bottled up. So he's been able, in most cases, to be the answer if they bottle up Barkley. But there was one instance, and that time he got bottled up on third down. He's going to bring out the punt team.
Patty Fisher came up and was fired up about it. We'll also tell you Jared McGee is back in there for Northwestern, so likely had just the wind knocked at him. That's good to know. So fourth down and 4. And they'll punt it away. Second punting opportunity for Penn State and Blake Gilligan. Gilligan from his own 45. And Flynn Nagel will call for the fair catch down at the 8-yard line. Blake Gilligan, tough day for the family. Blake's twin brother Tyler is the long snapper for Northwestern. What's a family to do? Got to root for a tie.
Well, see the seamstress, that's what you do.
Off your week 5 in the NFL tomorrow with Sunday NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern. I think those Rex Ryan promos are hysterical. And then Monday Night Football comes to you from nearby Soldier Field. There's a good look at Soldier Field. The Mitchell Trubisky era opens up for the Bears. We'll see how they do against their old friends from Minnesota. Coverage begins with Susie and the gang. Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. There is a flag down. Of course, the Cubs will play tonight on the road. Playoff baseball. It's the Nationals. Chicago Marathon tomorrow.
Offense number 69. Half the distance to their goal. First down.
Lots of good sports going on in the Chicago area. The Blackhawks put 10 on the board the other night.
10?
10
goals?
Against the Penguins. Jim Cornelison, by the way, the very well-known Blackhawks national anthem singer, sang the anthem here today.
Pat Fitzgerald will take 3 or 4 points, HLS 10 here. And this is a big drive here to the end of the first half. Important they get something on the board, but the hold by North to start out doesn't help them.
Start at the 4-yard line. Coach Fitz told us his first date ever with his wife at a Blackhawks game.
Was it?
He was 15, she was 16. Happily ever after. Since a Blackhawks game. The magic of hockey. And it's Justin Jackson, the ball carrier. Give him 4 on that play. And a timeout. with 2:57 left in this first half.
Yeah, it's a smart timeout from James Franklin. He gets get the ball back with plenty of time to put some more points on Pat his lead.
Of course, Randy Walker was Northwestern's head coach from 1999 until he passed away in 2006. During his final season, he wrote a practice plan up on the board in the office. Pat Fitzgerald explains why it's never coming down in our backstage pass.
This is Coach Walker's weekly practice plan for how we go about preparing our team to get ready for a game. And then on the right side were the 4 F's that Coach stressed about how to win a football game: the football, the field, the force, and the focus. And when I took over the program, I came in and I had forgotten that Coach had put this up on the board, and I moved the boards over and saw it. And do not erase. And there's no doubt we're never going to erase that. So when we move into our new facility, we'll make a very nice area to talk about Coach Walker's legacy, and this will be the focal point.
$270 million new facility. Coming, I think, next spring or summer, they hope. Justin Jackson on 2nd and 11. And Penn State will use another timeout and try to force the Wildcats to punt it to him and get some good field position.
Randy Walker's a heck of a football coach. You know, one of the inspirational leaders, you know, he brought here by Gary Barnett. I thought what was interesting when you talk about Randy Walker, he was one of the guys that brought this spread offense to Northwestern. There was a guy on the staff by the name of Kevin Wilson. You know him? He's the offensive coordinator now at Ohio State. They went down and they visited at Clemson with Rich Rodriguez and brought this offense back, and it's kind of morphed into something now, obviously, that Northwestern's had the past 15 years.
And he brought the great attitude. That's one of the signs, and maybe you saw it on the above the blackboard. So that people say, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah. Right? It's your attitude. It permeates throughout the whole college football, the program here at Northwestern. They're very excited about this new facility.
As it should be.
We saw some pictures of it. It looks like it's going to be fabulous. And in talking to the athletic director, Jim Phillips, he's like, look, we've had success here without any of those kind of facilities. Right. So with that recruiting tool, you would think bigger and better on the way to Northwestern. On 3rd down and 10. Thorson's in trouble. Running out of the end zone. Throwing on the run. Got a man wide open at the 40. And it's Bennett Skoranek. Skoranek is there on the big play, and that's just the spark the Wildcats needed. Gain of 32.
Clayton Thorson was taking a risk here outside the pocket. Oruarie, the defensive back, number 21, if he stays on his feet right there, may have made the interception. But as it stands, a big conversion for Northwestern.
That's the longest play from scrimmage all day for the Wildcats. Out at the 40. Looking to get on the board before halftime. Short pass underneath to Macon Wilson.
And guys, even if they don't score here, that play was so huge because they were backed up. Penn State still has 1 timeout left. They were going to call it after that play if they had stopped Northwestern. Hunter, who struggled with the last punt, shanked it off the side of his foot, was going to have to punt from the back of the end zone into the wind.
On 2nd and 4, they've got more first down yardage. Able to complete again, it's Wilson.
If you're Clayton Thorson here, you just need to relax. You don't need to be in too much of a hurry. There's plenty of time. You got 2 timeouts, 2 minutes on the clock. So he doesn't need to be in a rush here.
First time they've had some rhythm all afternoon. He is throwing into the wind. Throws it out to Wilson. So all of a sudden, Wilson is his go-to guy. 3 consecutive completions to him.
Yeah, and he's a possession-type receiver. A lot of short routes. At some point, it might be worth, against man-to-man coverage, taking a little double move shot on the outside.
Wilson had the first touchdown of the season for Northwestern. And the underneath, it's Garrett Dickerson. He's short of the marker. Clock will spin down. Under 90 seconds left in this first half. And the wind starts to whip up. You can probably hear it at home through our microphones. Here's Larkin. See where they mark his forward progress. He's going to be very close. And the clock keeps going.
Yeah, no, he didn't give it to him. It's 4th down. You got to make a real-time decision here from Pat Fitzgerald as the clock runs down.
Or take a timeout. They're 1 of 2 on 4th down conversions just today. Again, Northwestern with 2 timeouts and now under 50 seconds left.
I think James Franklin's going to take his final timeout.
charge timeout, Penn State. The third and final timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
While we have the timeout, we'll check back in with Cassidy. Cassidy coming up on the State Farm halftime report. Recap our first half. Not a whole lot of highlights. Of course, 4 of the top 5 are in action at this hour. All scores and highlights from around the country. That's coming up on the State Farm halftime report. Clayton Thorson is 5 for 5 on this drive. This is 4th and 1 to keep it alive. Handoff to Justin Jackson. He's got the first down yardage. And that'll stop the clock.
That stopped the clock, and Pat Fitzgerald quickly took a timeout on the sideline. Interesting, as the clock stops when obviously you get a first down. I don't think he had the personnel on the field that he wanted to have out there. He had jumbo package, big guys, not conducive to his 2-minute drill. I think that's why he took the timeout to change personnel.
How much time came off the clock, though, prior to James Franklin using his timeout?
Sometimes you do that as a coach in case you don't make it, Steve, right? You don't want to leave too much time on the clock for the opponent getting the ball at the 40-yard line.
Here, you're in the plus side of the field. You haven't scored yet. Northwestern will get the ball to start the second half. It's an opportunity.
Why do we put this on? Why do we put this on the air?
You mean the dancing?
Yeah, these guys.
Where's Coach Fitz?
How is that supporting the team on the field right there? Having fun.
First down and 10. Oh, to be back in college, please.
Barely the afternoon. We just got done with the morning.
You are going back to college, by the way, tonight. Ryan and his Michigan team will be on it. 20 years ago, the national champs. Here's Thorson, and a flag. Kevin Gibbons able to knock it down. No flag, I beg your pardon. The second time Gibbons has batted down a passed ball.
Yeah, Gibbons is one of the playmakers in these pass rush situations. He had 4.5 sacks a year ago. He's redshirt sophomore. And he predominantly rushes from the inside, but they've been using him on the outside as well. They've got 4 or 5 pass rushers now, Penn State does, that they haven't had from a year ago that have stepped up.
This is a drive that started from the Northwestern 8. 38 to play in the half. Here's Thorson, not in trouble, that'll push him back. Shaka Toney got in for the sack, and a timeout is called.
Shaka Toney has a quick first step. You'll see him on the outside. He's going against Hance again. He was the reason why he got the fumble earlier. This time he's matched up on Dickerson, the tight end, and the tight end's not going to win against a pass rusher like Toney.
Third sack of the game already for Penn State. That continues to be an issue for Northwestern. Thorson was sacked 8 times a week ago. Yeah, there's that Penn State defense.
Yeah, everybody talks about, Saquon Barkley, and they should. They talk about McSorley. They talk about the weapons on offense. But if Penn State is going to get where they want to go, where everybody thinks they might be able to go, the college football playoff and the Big Ten championship again, it's going to be because this defense continues to step up and play better.
Again, if you're tuning in for the Saquon Barkley show, he has minus -1 yard rushing today, 8 carries. People are going to be like, wait a second, I've heard so much about this guy. And that has not materialized to this point. There's a whole second half, not to worry. Third down and 18. Final half minute to play. Thorson on the run, throws it underneath, able to complete to Jackson out of the backfield.
Pass is complete to Justin Jackson.
And again, there are no timeouts remaining. 20 seconds left.
Yeah, right now I'm going to get up on the ball, and I'm going to take a shot here down the field. Obviously, there's no time left. Doesn't matter if you don't get it.
Welcome to my world. Take a shot. When in doubt. Final play of the half. Thorson will step into one and throw it towards the end zone. And the only one to make the play is Christian Campbell for Penn State. Looked like the Northwestern receiver didn't even turn around. It'll go officially as the 3rd turnover of the first half. But the story will be Saquon Barkley has minus -1 yard rushing, and yet Penn State leads 10-0. Send you to the studio for the State Farm halftime after this. The wind's starting to whip up a little. See if Northwestern can whip up some offense. You're watching college football on ABC, presented by Walmart. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Todd McShay. Heard you cheated on me last Saturday. As we get ready for quarter number 3, I came to see the Saquon Barkley show. What gives?
What gives is a pretty good plan by Pat Fitzgerald and this Northwestern defense. And Patty Fisher's been making some plays. They wanted to keep him in a box, and so far they've done that. They wanted to make McSorley keep the ball. They've done that as well. They bottled him up to the tune of -1 yards in the first half. Wouldn't be surprised if he got a little bit more in the second half. But the story to me is this Penn State defense. Pass rush, they forced 3 turnovers of Clayton Thorson in the first half, 2 interceptions and a fumble. And so far, Penn State, they're not just a Saquon Barkley show. They got defense, too.
Riley Lees will take a knee in the end zone. Take a look now at our Pacific Life game summary. Little wrinkle in that Penn State offense.
Well, you know that Saquon Barkley is going to affect defenses, and you see 4 defenders for Northwestern come up, and then, of course, you got Gesicki, you got Deshaun Hamilton, and you got Barkley. Why not throw the touchdown to the backup quarterback, Tommy Stevens?
Tommy Stevens, welcome to the show. Trace McSorley had himself another nice first half. 10-0. Penn State to open up quarter number 3. And again, Saquon Barkley held to -1 yard rushing. And Penn State out in front. Justin Jackson, the top running back for Northwestern in the game, to start the third quarter, and he's the ball carrier. He'll pick up 3 on the play. And again, Northwestern will open here with the football going against what we expect to be a gusting wind, especially into the fourth quarter. And there could be some rain as well in the forecast. Out again to Jackson as a receiver. Justin Jackson is the first Northwestern runner with 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Probably doesn't get as much attention as he should nationally.
No, he doesn't, and it's going to be a struggle for him this year to get back to that 1,000-yard mark, just because this offensive line is probably the weakest unit on this Northwestern team.
3rd and 3. The Cats. Thorson underneath, might have had first down yardage if Skoranek could have held on to it, but he couldn't. Christian Campbell with him step for step.
And you watch this second half for Clayton Thorson. When he's throwing the ball, is there any separation from these wide receivers? That time he bought some time, escaped the pocket, and you would think that a receiver could separate in man coverage, but Skoranek was draped by Christian Campbell.
Nice Wender. Gets the punt away. And it'll be down at about the 28-yard line. Down to Todd McShay.
You guys, we've seen so far, obviously, the big story, Saquon Barkley is not getting the production he normally does, but we've seen a really good performance by the quarterback, Trace McSorley. And why? Because so much attention given to Barkley, it's opening up a lot of passing lanes and a lot of holes in the secondary for Northwestern. Look at this attention that Barkley's getting. He's working to the outside in the flat. Linebackers are looking. Nope, there's no one dropping into coverage, and McSorley's taking advantage. Very accurate, as I said, 13 of 16 passing so far on the day for McSorley.
Hit 9 in a row at one point. And McSorley will keep it and try the right side on for size. Pick up 2 on the play.
And you know, Ty, we were talking with Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator, and with James Franklin last night about Barkley. They said he never once has asked for the ball. And I think that's why James Franklin has so much respect for Barkley, that he's a team guy through and through. And if the team's up 10 and he's impacting the defense and allowing another player to make big plays, then he's happy with that.
On 2nd down and 8. Here's McSorley. Out of the flat to Mike Gesicki. And Nate Hall comes up to make the stop. There you see the numbers on Barkley. It just pops out because you expect so much from him every single time he touches the football, and it just is not materialized today.
Yep. Well, and there's still half of football left, and as explosive as he is, he starts to wear down defenses. But I think a product of this, too, is this offensive line, which has really struggled, especially at right tackle.
McSorley comes out firing on 3rd and 2 and completing to DeAndre Tompkins for first down yardage. That's 11 in a row now for Trace McSorley. He's on the mark. Fake to Barkley, and the throw to Tompkins, and he's across midfield. Northwestern has had their way with Penn State each of the last 2 meetings. Well, Penn State leads the all-time series 13-5, but Northwestern has found a way, and Coach Fitz has never lost to James Franklin in his career. 3 wins, no losses. And 2nd down and 4, just across midfield. Oh, there's an issue on the play fake. Barkley knocked it out of the hands of McSorley. McSorley's able to recover, and we'll see where they spot it. What a break for Penn State. That does not count as a touch for Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, you practice this every day in practice, and sometimes you putting that ball in there for a run fake and you hit an elbow or something like that, that ball can come out. It's a nice job of McSorley just getting what he can get. Got a first down.
6 yards on that play. That's when things are going good for you. Clean living. Penn State 4th in the nation. Looking to go to 6-0 into their bye week. Here's Barkley. He barely turned the corner. Nate Hall was there to force him out. So he's such a different kid, and I say that with the best attributes about Barkley. You wonder if he gets frustrated after being bottled up. Not about the amount of times he's getting the football, but trying to make something happen.
Honestly, I don't think so. I mean, he's up 10 in the game, and he's on the road, and his offense is moving the ball and having success.
Here's McSorley off the play action, able to complete. Saeed Blacknall down the sideline. Blacknall! They're going to say he stepped out of bounds. Stepped out at the 5-yard line. That's the call on the field. Well, they made that look easy.
Well, they've been throwing this ball free access on the outside. Anytime they want it in this game, they have this play to the outside. Trey Williams misses a tackle, and then Blacknall steps out with the right foot at about the 5-yard line.
Goes for 38 yards on the play. It's 1st and goal. Tommy Stevens is back in there. We just showed you he caught the touchdown pass in the first half. They're going to hand it to Stevens this time. McSorley handing it off to him. 2nd effort and 3rd effort.
The ball came out, too.
Ball comes out. They're saying he was down at the 1. We'll take another look at that.
Stevens, the ball carrier.
Well, it's all fun and games. You give the backup quarterback an opportunity to run, and he tries to go over the top, stays on his feet with great effort, but as soon as he puts the ball on the ground, coaches think twice about handing him the ball again.
Straight on the Northwestern 1-yard line.
Let's see, we're going to look at that.
The ruling on the previous play, the runner was down before he lost control of the ball. That play is under further review.
Tommy Stevens is a guy who's played 3 prior games this season as a quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver. Had a rushing touchdown against Akron. Had a passing touchdown and a receiving touchdown against Georgia State. So he can do it all. And he caught the touchdown pass from McSorley in the first half here today. Here trying to bounce off some people and some extra effort. Let's see when that ball came out.
Yeah, he's very clearly down with the left elbow and his back. It's a good ruling on the field. I think it was a good spot just inside the 1-yard line. Stevens is a talented player, highly recruited kid coming out of high school in Indianapolis. And as you mentioned, he's made some plays already this season.
Left elbow was down before he lost control of the ball. Ruling on the field is confirmed.
You know, in the spring game, back in the spring, he was 17 of 24 for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he can throw the ball well. Also, that Penn State, if something ever did happen to Trace McSorley, they've got a very capable backup.
And that's the prototypical size, right? That's your NFL size, 6'5", 228. 2nd down and goal. Off the fake to Barkley, it's McSorley, and he's inches from pay dirt. But you saw the attention that Barkley got on the fake.
Yeah, it's very clear. You know, Graziano, the defensive end, just takes Barkley and forcing McSorley to try to run in between the tackles. And that's a nice job by McGee, the backup safety, bringing him up just short, forcing a third down.
Gesicki's in there.
The previous play, the runner was down before getting into the end zone. That play is under further review.
Yeah, let's check that one out too. Let's just be sure. Let's get it right.
I think they got it right. You know,
2 for 2.
Pat Fitzgerald has the sign when the players come out and says, trust yourself.
Yes.
I think the officials might want to do that. You know, when they come out at halftime. Trust your ruling on the field. That was the right one.
Yeah, we think they've been done an excellent job here today.
Jim Kimmerling is the replay official in the booth. He was the official for many of my games going to college back at Michigan.
Want to reminisce any further?
Does a great job.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Third down.
See how fast he is getting these? Saw him before the game, and I told him we were going back for the 97 reunion. He said, how come you guys didn't invite me back? I helped you a couple times. I said, I don't know about that, Jim.
What number did he wear? 3rd and goal. Trace McSorley hits 13 consecutive pass plays. This time it's Barkley over the top for the touchdown. Saquon Barkley for the score. And there is a flag down.
Flag is down on the
Offside.
field, Judge.
Defense, number 21. Penalties decline. Result of the play, touchdown.
That will stand. And for Saquon Barkley, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season.
We've seen him hurdle many defenders in his career at Penn State. And you get down inside the goal line, you don't get great push up front from the offensive line, and that's the element that he brings. He's like playing on springs back there. Just goes over the top. Take a look from our sky cam right over top. Yeah, I don't think he got over until he extended that ball before he was going down. It's a great effort by Saquon.
Replay taking a look at this as well, just to make sure.
Yeah, you see the official on the opposite side. This is the view that he got. I don't think he got in there, and then I think right here where he, yep. Good job.
Tyler Davis on for the extra point. And makes it 17-0. Wildcats need to do something on offense to keep this game from slipping away for them. Saquon Barkley has 0 rushing yards officially. He's got 7 on the board with a touchdown. Back in Evanston, Illinois. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. When was the last time Northwestern defeated an AP top 5 team at home? Interesting. We'll let you think about that. We'll let that marinate a little bit. And give you the answer shortly. And Northwestern will take over out of the 25-yard line, trying to stay in this game, get something going with the offense. And, you know, the story around the country, and it's so fluid, is the Heisman Trophy.
Right.
And Saquon Barkley, and he's the favorite this week. And people can say, he's got 0 yards, officially, 0 rushing yards here in the 3rd quarter, and that will change things. To me, it shows a positive that, hey, Penn State might be able to win on the road without Barkley. Might need that down the road.
They're going to need to be a complete team to go where they want to go. They're going to need to be good on defense, and they're going to need Trace McSorley and these wide receivers without Chris Godwin, who was a big part of their team a year ago, to step up and to win games. That last drive was a perfect example. 10 plays, 67 yards. Barkley wasn't a part of any of it until the last play. And McSorley goes 5 for 5 on the drive, and they score.
Yeah, McSorley's been on the money. He's hit each of his last 13 attempts. That pass just too high out of the hand of Clayton Thorson. The upcoming schedule of Penn State, they're trying to get into the bye. And then things get a little dicey. Keep in mind, 4 of the first 5 games they played at home.
Yes.
So they've had that benefit. Only the game at Iowa, which is a thriller. And then 3 of the next 4, including this one, is on the road and things have become more difficult.
And I think the big question is that offensive line. Can they continue to get better up front? Because they're going to need to play better against teams like Michigan, fronts like Ohio State.
Jackson is taken down.
Tackled by Grant Haley.
And I think the big difference from a year ago is they can be reliant a little bit on this defense. And so far up front, they have, talk about bottle up Barkley, they bottle up Justin Jackson just the same, who's a talented runner, and Kabinda led the charge on that one.
6th Penn State tackle for loss here today with 9 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Here's Thorson. Throws it downfield and just too far for Skoranek. Bennett Skoranek has been his go-to guy. Just led him a little too far.
Yep. And Skoranek is a big wide receiver, 6'4", 218 pounds, but he just doesn't have the speed to get open on Arouarier. That's good coverage down the field. There's nowhere to throw that ball. And I'm surprised that Mick McCall, Pat Fitzgerald haven't started to use some of their younger players. They got a redshirt freshman, Riley Lees, a true freshman, Kyrick McGowan. They have to find some speed on the outside to get open.
Nice wonder. Another short punt for him. And DeAndre Tompkins calls for the fair catch. Penn State will take over with excellent field position. Already up by 17.
College football on ABC, presented by Walmart, is brought to you by Nissan, innovation that excites, and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Real Coca-Cola taste, zero sugar, 0 calories.
There's a good look at Northwestern's new lakefront athletic facility. They're calling it an absolute game changer. There's a beautiful view. They said they're going to have the largest indoor practice facility in the country.
$270 million into that. That is a game changer. There's no question. I mean, this Northwestern's sitting on right here in Chicago, with the amount of support they have here in that metropolitan city and the academics that Northwestern has. I think that's going to be set them up with Fitzgerald signing a 10-year contract, set them up well for the future.
Quality of life is off the charts here. And, Michael Wilbon, Mike Greenberg, they're shaking their heads in agreement right now. I'm sure we have so many other colleagues who are Wildcat alum. Barkley dropped for a loss. Kyle Cairo able to make the tackle along with Montre Hardage.
And this is what happens when you just decide to give it to him, right? You have his run pass option, zone read, and you say, maybe if you're Joe Moorhead, say, hey, just give it to him. That's what happens. They got 3 or 4 guys that are dedicated just to number 26, and you have a negative play.
7th tackle for loss by Northwestern today. They've done the job on Barkley, but they can't score themselves. Here's McSorley. Out to Tommy Stevens, who's playing a major role in this game. And there are penalty flags back down in the backfield. Looks like Patty Fisher.
Yeah, they're going to get Patty Fisher for a late hit on the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting. Defense number 42. That play is under further review.
Wonder, you're down 17-0, you get frustrated, you're a couple of steps away from the quarterback, takes one step, and that's the definition of it there. Put that crown of the helmet right on the chin of Trace McSorley.
Forcible contact to the head or neck area. That's textbook.
Yeah. Boy, those were clean shots back when I was playing.
Right.
I mean, that was the price of doing business. And Pat Fitzgerald, in fact, I think Pat Fitzgerald may have hit me a couple times. Now that I think about it, look, he's telling Patty Fisher, look, listen, it's not intentional there. It's some of these things are circumstantial, and they're trying to send this message, and rightfully so.
Yes.
And Patty Fisher is not going to be able to play the rest of this game because of it.
We're told the closest monitor is not working for the officials, so they'll have to. That was the sprint down the field to a different monitor. Coach Fitz, he loves Patty Fisher. He said, look, I'm a guy, I don't overhype a cheeseburger, let alone a player. But he loves everything that Patty Fisher brings to the table. Well, that's the definition of the rule.
I think part of the reason that this happens is Patty Fisher's 6'4", and Trace McSorley is only 6 feet. So for him to hit him in the chest, he'd have to almost crouch down to hit him in the chest. He just comes up and hits him and ends up to the crown of his helmet, ends up in the face mask of McSorley.
And again, being in the, there's the goodbye.
Yeah.
So they know. Here's the call.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Number 42 is disqualified from the rest of the game.
Look at the hustle off the field.
He's always hustling.
Yeah.
And even, because this is in the second half of this game, he'll miss the first half of Northwestern's next game, next weekend out in Maryland. He leaves with 6 tackles. And he was, one of the many keys to shutting down Barkley. Yeah. That could open up some things for Saquon again now.
You're going to hear a lot about Patty Fisher over the next 3 years at Northwestern. Just a redshirt freshman, and he's going to be the leader of this program moving forward.
Here's McSorley to keep it. He faked it to Barkley. Blake Gallagher replaces Patty Fisher, and Gallagher is a true freshman. So they are young at that linebacker spot. But the defense has not been the issue for Northwestern today.
No, they've played good team defense. It's been the offense. They have been unable to get anything going offensively to stay in this game.
2nd and 5. Again, the fake to Barkley. And McSorley throws, and that is dropped. Tompkins could not hang on. After 14 in a row, should have been 15 straight for McSorley, but the drop there. James Franklin seemed a little concerned. 11 a.m. local kick, not a huge crowd, not what Penn State is used to playing in front of. They were saying they have to bring your own juice.
Yep.
They have to manufacture some of that energy. They've practiced differently in years gone by without music, trying to bring their own energy. Not this week. McSorley is dropped in the backfield.
It's Alex Miller coming off the edge. Brothers Miller. You got Sam Miller and Alex Miller starting fighting to get back into this game. He's working on the right guard, Brendan Mann. Now, Mann came into this game. He was a game-time decision. It looked like he had an ankle injury. So they've been beat up on the right side of that offensive line, and it's smart of Pat Fitzgerald to attack that side.
You got brothers everywhere you look. Blake Gillikin with his twin brother on the other side. He'll punt it away. It'll bounce, and a great bounce for Penn State. Down to the 3, and we send it back to Cassidy.
Ball spotted on the 4-yard line.
Cass, thank you. We were preparing a few weeks ago for Notre Dame Boston College, and the tape you were looking at was Notre Dame Georgia, and you were glued to I'm like, hey, we're supposed to focus on the Irish here, but you were definitely taking with Georgia.
That defense for Georgia is just wicked. I mean, coming off the edge, Bellamy, the Mike Backer, Roquan Smith, that's a team that, Penn State fans that are watching this game, when it comes down to the college football playoff and the top 4 at the end of the year, that's a team that Penn State fans need to keep an eye on, because even with one loss, that's going to be a team to reckon with.
What do we know about this conference, this Big Ten conference? We know what Saquon Barkley can do. We know Michigan plays great defense. You got 4 teams in the top 10. These are good times for the Big Ten.
I think we're going to know a lot more at the end of October, right? When Penn State plays Michigan, Ohio State, obviously, we're going to know a whole lot more.
Here's Thorson looking, nearly intercepted.
But I don't think
he's pressing to get something going offensively.
I don't think we have a good idea who the best team is in the Big Ten. Wisconsin definitely needs to be in that conversation with their defense. Ohio State, obviously, with that loss to Oklahoma, kind of took a step back, but I think the Big Ten is in good position. I don't think it's in great position, honestly, because everybody's talking about the SEC being down. There's 2 teams in the SEC that are head and shoulders above the rest, and I wouldn't be shocked if at the end of the year we're talking about a 1-loss SEC, Alabama or Georgia getting in.
Here's Thorson, who's missed on his last 4, making 0 for his last 5. You mentioned Wisconsin. Northwestern thought they deserved a better fate last week against Wisconsin. They were pretty pleased with most of that football game.
Yeah, except for the third quarter. They were outscored 24-0. They played 3 good
Except
quarters.
for that little third quarter, that 24-0 blip on the screen. They were right there. They battled back.
Well,
a lot of
and
heart.
they've played well today on defense and special teams. Well enough to be in this game, but offensively, they just haven't had it.
Oh, high snap. Good job by Nicewander to bring it down. And the fair catch, DeAndre Tompkins. There are flags down.
Flag on the
Back
play.
at about the 12-yard line. Northwestern so far, this quarter, 3 straight 3-and-outs. Every opportunity to get back in the game. And they keep going 3-and-out.
During the return, holding. During the kick, holding. Number 11 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
We got you, Mike. No problem. Penn State back to the field. Saquon Barkley. Trying to get that little dash in front of the 7. Off the back of his football card. Time now to answer our Athletic trivia question. We asked earlier, when was the last time Northwestern defeated an AP top 5 team at home?
I guess 95 when they went to the Rose Bowl. Oh, no.
And the answer, you got to go back to 1959 against number 2 Oklahoma. Fakes to the left, and McSorley throwing to his right and out of bounds. And down to Todd on Saquon Barkley, who remains a minus today to this point.
I know, shocking, but today's United States Air Force player profile, Steve, is Saquon Barkley. And let's take a look at his grades. Just because he's having a tough day doesn't mean he's not a great back, and obviously he's opened up a lot of things for this offense for Penn State, but just competitiveness. You talk about the 5 keys to the running back position-specific traits. His competitiveness as a runner and just as a player is remarkable. Vision patience, a B+. It looks like a terrible grade. Still a B+. The only negative, as I mentioned earlier, is you see some at times where he's trying to bounce things to the outside rather than just hitting up north and south. But other than that, any of the agility, acceleration, and the passing game is the area I think he continues to improve upon. His hands have gotten better and better each year.
You know, Todd, I'd add one more category, and that's character, and I'd give him an A+.
Absolutely.
You know, and that means something. It means a lot, actually, at this day and age at the NFL level. And this is a great example of it today. You know, he's not having the kind of touches that he would expect, but he's not complaining on the sideline. He's not being like Antonio Brown on the sideline, right? He's in the game. He's affecting the game, even though he's not touching it.
Here's Barkley trying to make people miss, and he'll get out to midfield, still well short of the first down marker.
I mean, this guy is special. I mean, he is the elite of the elite, and there's just nothing negative to point to. We've seen some backs go early in the draft in recent years. Talking about Todd Gurley a few years ago, Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette in the first round. Ezekiel Elliott is another example. Won 4 overall in the Cowboys. I think this guy has a chance to be better than all of them. And you think about the success they've had. I think he's has the highest grade, in my opinion, going back to Adrian Peterson when he came out in 2007.
That's quite a statement to put him ahead of all those other outstanding running backs going into the NFL. There you see Todd's highest running back grades. But on the overall big board, have you moved him ahead of Sam Darnold yet?
Not yet. Let it go. It's going to be a weekly deal, huh?
Well, you know, it's funny. The Heisman conversation is so fluid. I don't know if you can win it one week. I don't know if you can you lose it in 1 week. It does seem to change week to week, and this was Barkley's week coming in. Certainly Las Vegas and everyone else talking about that he's the favorite now to win the Heisman. Will be interesting to see who else does what in the college football landscape going into next week.
He wasn't going to win the Heisman against Northwestern, and for that reason, he's not going to lose the Heisman against Northwestern. The games against Michigan, the games against Ohio State, the Big Ten championship, he needs to get there. You know, when you look at it, for running backs, you almost have to be in the national championship game and in that conversation to win it, because that's what we've seen from Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram, the last two backs that have won it in the last 10 years. Everybody else been a quarterback. So if a running back is going to win it, you really have to be contending at the end of the year, unless you go back even further to a guy like Ron Dane that just has an unbelievable historical record-breaking year.
And while we're talking about Barkley, Northwestern did manage their first down of this quarter. A quarter that has just over 3.5 minutes left. Ball pops in the air, and it is intercepted. No, they're going to say it hit the ground. Tyrell Chavis looked like he came up with a pick.
Get an opportunity as a big fella to get that interception. He doesn't touch the ball very often, and clearly that ball comes out. We'll hear about that in the defensive line room.
And he's a senior, of course. Would have liked to have had that one.
I think his boys are going to give him a little bit of grief for that one.
Yeah.
Thorson has completed just 1 for his last 8. Make it 1 for his last 9. Marcus Allen nearly intercepted that one. 4th down.
Every throw has been contested. Every single one. This was the slant, and it's batted up in the air because of the tight coverage. Christian Campbell, Grant Haley, Mario Aurier, all of them have had tight coverage today.
Oh, there's some love on the sideline. That's great. And another punt for Nicewander. 4th punt this quarter. That takes a Northwestern bounce. Eventually be gobbled up at the 28-yard line. Tonight, Michigan State and Michigan, 7:30 Eastern on ABC, streaming live on the ESPN app. 110th meeting between the teams. Chris, were you 4-0, 3-0 against them like you were Ohio State or not?
No.
Did you lose to Michigan State?
Yeah, lost to Michigan State one time on the road.
All right, Brian Greasy, looking young, handsome, athletic.
That's not the Michigan State game.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
98 Rose Bowl. The MVP of the Rose Bowl. And the national champions will be honored tonight. We're going to get Grease out of here in a hurry.
Yeah.
I've arranged for a helicopter to take you from midfield to midfield.
Perfect.
Big house.
Perfect. You know people.
Drop you down. I got a guy who owns a helicopter. But it'd be neat for you to go back to school and see your old teammates. I can only imagine the stories flowing and whatever else will be flowing post-game. And
behave tonight, would you?
It'd be great to see all those guys. Coach Carr, it'd be great to get back. First night game, in that series. They've never done that before. Right. Only the 4th time they played at night. So I'm sure they've already opened up the tailgates. They're already getting ready for tonight.
Do you have a big speech planned or anything? No.
No microphones.
Okay.
I got a microphone for 3 hours here. That's enough.
Here's Tompkins on the receiving end as first down yardage. Trace McSorley has been very impressive today. 20 of 25, 215 yards, the score, and hasn't thrown the pick.
Efficient, right? He's been efficient, and he's played within the system. He's read the defense, and despite the fact that he hasn't had much support up front from his all-star running back, he's made the plays that have been there.
On 1st and 10, he's going to throw it again. He's going to take a shot down the sideline. And just too far for Irvin Charles. Andre Hardage had the coverage.
Brian, I think back to last year when we had this game, when we had the Penn State-Michigan game. I think it was a 4th or 5th game of the year.
Yep.
I know they had a lot of injuries at linebacker. They were decimated on the defensive side. But how much different is this team from that team we saw that day, and how much they improved throughout last season and continue to improve? It's a really remarkable turnaround from where they were last September.
Yeah, and I think that Minnesota game was really a turning point for James Franklin. They win that game in overtime. If they don't win that one, they would have gone 2-3.
Here's Barkley looking to break one down the sideline. The run we've all been waiting for. Saquon Barkley, touchdown. 53 yards when his previous long had been 8.
It's only a matter of time, right? I mean, you keep giving him the ball, you block it up on the inside. Patty Fisher's out of the game. You lose that rock at the Mike linebacker position for Northwestern, and you keep chipping away at that rock, and at some point, Saquon Barkley's going to make you pay.
Good for 53. And the Nittany Lions ranked 4th in the country at 5-0. Open up a 24-0 lead here at Northwestern against the Big Ten rival.
So Todd had all of his grades on Saquon Barkley, right? Let's take a look at some of these things. The jump cut is what really stands out to me. That cut right there, and then the acceleration. It's almost like the feet of a Barry Sanders in vision, and then that acceleration and speed and power of an Adrian Peterson. And then the last piece for me is Marcus Allen hands, right? Out of the backfield. And you put all those things together, man, this guy is really special.
They have been setting that up to all day because they've done that fake so many times, and McSorley's held on to it. This time he gives the ball.
How about that speed? I mean, that defensive back had an angle, and he's a pursuit angle killer is what Barkley is. I mean, right. When you're 230 and you're running in the high 4.3s, low 4.4s, that's different.
I thought Greasy asked when we sat with the Penn State coaching staff and James Franklin, you got the money answer out of that. You said to the coach, can you look up to a player like Saquon Barkley? That's kind of an odd question that a coach would look up at his player. And full marks to Franklin, who said, yes, he does. He looks up to his player.
Yeah, he was saying that all the players on the team look up to Saquon, and I get that, right? I mean, they're all looking at him in amazement of what he can do. And then I just asked, hey, you look up to him. And I think it was telling. And the reason I think it was telling is because he knows where Saquon came from, right? Born in the Bronx. You know, his dad struggled with addiction to drugs, spent some time at Rikers. His mom got him out of there, moved to just north of Allentown, PA. And he went through a lot, right? He was a middle kid of 5 kids, and they grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment. Now he's leading this team, right? And he's
leading the country.
Yeah, he's
in a lot of categories.
He's what's good about college football, you know, and that's why it's so much fun to cover athletes like him.
Franklin said of the family, football does not define this family. They are not all about that, like other families are in a lot of cases, especially with star players. You know, you see, backup and third-string players, parents are coming there for the spring game and the road game. You know, Barkley's family is not in attendance. Franklin said he didn't think they've made one spring game. They're not busy here all the time on the phone, emails, those kinds of things. And he seems to be an off-the-charts kid.
Yeah.
For as good a running back as he is, he seems to be an off-the-charts kid. And one of his teammates told us, well, he can't dance, he can't sing, and he doesn't dress all that well. And I asked Barkley about that, and all he would say is, no, I can dance. So he still can't sing or dress, but he says he can dance. And seems like a real likable, humble kid, easy guy to root for. And again, has changed the conversation now about Penn State football. We'll check the marker with 1:18
Ball
left.
Start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Another thing I think is really cool about Saquon is the fact that he clearly physically matured his last year in high school and then continued at Penn State, but just mentally maturing. His grade point average is significantly better in college than it was in high school. And his work ethic keeps on getting better and better. And as everyone starts to praise him and tell him how great he is and all this national attention, he hasn't changed. He's the same exact guy, and he doesn't let any of it affect him. That's hard for a young man his age to do, and he's getting this kind of national attention.
3rd down, 11. Thorson will just check it down, and that'll bring up a 4th down. And, he does something interesting every single week. Last week, he was the first player in the last 20 years to have 50 yards rushing, 50 yards receiving, throw a passing touchdown, and a kick return touchdown. So he's so enjoyable to watch, and I was really looking forward to seeing him play in person.
Yep.
And then has, we're stuck on -7 yards there into the 3rd quarter before he finally explodes. We're wearing out poor Hunter Nicewander. Northwestern has 10 players on the field. Now they've got 11. Fitzgerald wants to know what's up.
4th and 12 on the 18.
Hunter Nicewander. This is going to be his 5th punt of the quarter.
Snapping that ball, and the officials are talking to each other. Not sure what's going on down there. It's not the start that, not the way this game wanted to go for Pat Fitzgerald, but this is a team that I think is trying to find their identity on the offensive side. They've lost some players. Justin Jackson.
Please reset the game clock to 14 seconds. 1-4.
And but this is something that they can come back from. They play well against Wisconsin. We kind of talked about that. And they just need to get this offense figured out, find some playmakers. And I think it's time for them to let some of these younger players, these redshirt freshman wide receivers, get a chance to prove that they can play on the offensive side in the upcoming games.
They are at Maryland next week. Nice wonder in the air. Bounce out at about the 40-yard line. Back to Cass.
Sails out of bounds at the 43-yard line of Penn State. That's where Penn State will start. 1st and 10.
Wow. Yes, thank you.
That's surprising with no Jacob Park, the quarterback,
yes,
right?
Look ahead.
The back up in there.
Hey, you know, we opened the show by saying 4 of the top 5 in the country are playing in this afternoon window, and somebody's probably going to go down. It's just crazy things happen. The big favorites today. A lot of highly ranked teams, a lot of double-digit favorites. Somebody big time is going to lose today or tonight.
What are you going to say tonight?
Why did you think I bet Michigan?
They're playing tonight.
There are a lot of other big games tonight. Alabama's playing.
Not with the team coming back.
Alabama's playing tonight, too.
Northwestern 0.
ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word
Office
from
Max,
ABC.
Club Chicago at the Northwestern Wildcat.
You're watching the Big Ten on ABC. Say what? Saquon. Exactly. 2 touchdowns in Penn State's 24-0 lead over Northwestern here in Evanston, Illinois, as we open up quarter number 4. Steve Levy along with Brian Greasy and Todd McShay. Our producer, Josh Hoffman. Director, Mike Schwab. And the excellent crew we get to travel with each and every Saturday throughout the college football season. We do cherish these afternoons.
What do you think after watching Penn State here? 24-0 in this game. I'm interested in Todd's take, too, on whether this team, can they go on the road and beat a Michigan? Can they beat an Ohio State? Especially with this defense. We kind of knew about the offense, but what about with this defense?
Here's McSorley, who I think has been very impressive. Underneath to Jawan Johnson for a completion. Bring up 4th down. I think it's still to be determined, really.
Yeah.
You said about Barkley, he's not going to win the Heisman against Northwestern or lose it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you're going to win any big points nationally against Northwestern either for Penn State. This is kind of what they're expected to do. You're the 4th-ranked team in the country.
Handled their business, coming on the road, an early kick, yeah.
And a good punt. Flynn Nagel, the fair catch. Back to the 5-yard line. Let's take a look at today's All-State, all-hands-in play.
Well, I think the thing that jumped out to me today was this defense. And Jason Kabinda, their leader, Marcus Allen, the leader from the secondary. They've got some players up front, the Cothran boys on the inside, Shaka Tony on the outside, Buckle. I mean, they've got more players on the defense and more depth and more speed than they had a year ago. And they locked down the receivers today in man-to-man coverage for Northwestern. Nowhere for Clayton Thorson to throw the football.
And those injuries a year ago, probably helping them this year on the defensive side because so many guys got to play and got experience that they didn't expect in the 2016 season.
That's juggled and dropped by Garrett Dickerson. And at this point for Northwestern, you just want to get anything going, even something for confidence building going into next week's game. Now, they have shown nothing on offense. They've forced a punt each of the last 5 possessions, 4 3-and-outs, and the other series went 4 plays. Thorson in all sorts of trouble, and he is dropped down at the 2.5-yard line.
This is one of the things you see from Brent Pry, their defensive coordinator, using Jason Kabinda in certain situations. They bring him wrapped around, and then they bring the defensive end Buckles around, and that's some creative usage by Brent Pry. He's going to continue to use Kabinda in these ways to get guys free on the passer, and that's the 4th sack for them today.
Sharif Miller got him around the legs. Ryan Buchholz up top. Here's Thorson from the end zone throwing, and it was behind his intended target, making Bacon. Mentioned Sharif Miller. He's wearing uniform number 48 today. Each of the last 2 weeks, though, he wore uniform number 19, and that was in honor of his injured teammate, Torrance Brown. So Sharif Miller putting the heat on Clayton Thorson. Well, Thorson's got to be battered and bruised. First the 8 sacks last week, getting beaten up here today. And another punt situation for Hunter Nicewander. His 6th punt, this from his own end zone. And out at the 45. DeAndre Tompkins is dropped. Excellent special teams tackle. There is a flag down on the play.
There's no foul for an illegal block in the back. Timeout.
We'll just pick that up and put it away. For all that Saquon Barkley has accomplished today, Penn State defense right now pitching a shutout. Let's take a look at today's college football rankings brought to you by PlayStation. I told you somebody was going to lose today. Yeah, it's not over. There's still 12 minutes left in that game. And Cassidy Hubbard will keep you posted on that.
Look ahead to Red River Rivalry next week.
Do you think that's what's happening?
Must be. I mean, Iowa State without their quarterback, Jacob Park, scored 31.
Well, they scored 7 when we saw them on that Thursday night.
You jinxed them.
And they couldn't do anything. And against that mighty Oklahoma defense. Wow. On 2nd and 5. Out to Tompkins. Bring up a 3rd and short.
Might be the last drive for the starters on Penn State if they're able to go down and attempt a field goal or get a touchdown here. Barkley's still in the game. McSorley's still in the game.
You know, I was going to ask you about that. Does James Franklin take his foot off the gas pedal?
It's not foot off the gas pedal as much as just keep your guys healthy. Okay. You know, I mean, Saquon Barkley has touched the ball probably as much as any player in college football in the last couple of years. Keep him healthy.
They have first down yardage. Barkley has played every single snap of the game on offense. As requested, Cassidy, let's take that update, please. Yeah, it did. I know why you got to steal Cassidy's thunder by giving that score before she gives us the update.
I didn't put it up there.
Oh. Here's Barkley. He has first down yardage. But that is an interesting question about Barkley. About Barkley in terms of at what point, hey, has he had enough? You've got the game in hand.
It's interesting. Here comes Miles Sanders.
And it might be right now.
Yeah. Yep, I would take him out and take his helmet and say, good job.
James Franklin is known for playing down to the last snap. Remember, he iced the kicker, leading 56-0 against Georgia State in the final seconds. So he plays.
I'm surprised you didn't ask him about that in the meeting yesterday.
We ran out of time. We were pressed, or else I was getting to that.
Hardcore reporter you are.
Got to ask the hard questions. Sailed it over the head of Miles Sanders. Second and 10 upcoming.
Looks like he's still ready to go in.
Got the helmet on. Chin strap still up tight. Barkley's at 75 yards total, at 53 on that one touchdown run.
I'll tell you, Miles Sanders is a heck of a back now. He's 5'11", 215 himself and can make people miss.
Get it out to him.
He is there.
Out the flat, and just as you said, Grease, making some people miss. Great college football for you coming up this afternoon. About an hour and about 40 minutes or so now, Central Time. It's Miami and Florida State. Hurricanes will be fun to watch there. And then tonight it's top-ranked Alabama against Texas A&M. Crimson Tide are just blowing out every single person.
I am looking forward to watching Christian Kirk. I think he's one of the best receivers in all of college football. Go up against that man coverage from Alabama. That should be fun.
Here's 3rd and 5. And completing the Blacknall. He has first down yardage. I was asked this week, Reese, is it good for college football if we get Alabama-Clemson again in the national championship game? Is that good for college football?
Was it good for college football last year?
Yes,
it was unbelievable for college football last year. I'm always for having the 2 best teams at the end of the year, having lived through the pre-BCS era, right, and not having an opportunity to play Nebraska in the championship game in '97. I want the 2 best teams.
Still feel that.
We're celebrating you tonight, Bruce. What a game.
Barkley's back in the game. And there's the throw, and Barkley couldn't hang on. They wheeled him out of the backfield, and Barkley could not hang on.
That ball was thrown a little bit inside. And this is the skill that he has really honed, I think, this offseason. Matched up, obviously, on a true freshman, Mike linebacker. If that ball's thrown to the pylon, it's an easy touchdown, just a little bit underthrown.
His shoulders bothered him a little bit when he rolled over him.
I thought that was a pretty good ball. I think Barkley was supposed to make that play. I thought McSorley dropped that right in where it needed to be. That's just me. We're 2nd and 10 now. Down to Sanders. Down to the 10-yard line. Flag comes in late. Godwin Egbuke. See if the penalty is on him.
Well, they've already lost Patty Fisher, their leader at the linebacker position, and now Egbuke, who is their unquestioned leader from the secondary, comes in a little bit late.
Personal foul, targeting number 16 of the defense. Play is under further review.
And I think they're going to throw that flag.
Yep.
And they're going to look at this and they're going to say that this was incidental contact. It wasn't forcible contact to the head or neck area. I think they just barely touched helmets.
You could see at the end, too, he kind of tried to pull up after he already had gone and wasn't intentionally trying to cause harm.
And also unnecessary. I mean, Sanders is clearly going down to the ground. That's just an attempt to get an extra lick on a guy.
You can see guys thinking, like right there, it's a crouch, it's a launch. You know, he's leading with his head, and at the very end, he kind of pulls off. He says, wait, I can't do that. There were a lot of indicators, as they say, of targeting there, but I don't think he got the forcible contact.
He just went indicators on us.
Oh, Roger's ready. You know, he's the letter of the law.
I know, he's on speed dial. I got you.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Targeting, number 16 in the defense, is disqualified from the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Egbuke and Patty Fisher, 2 of the 2 leaders in the Northwestern defense, have been ejected for targeting today, and both will miss the first half of next week's game at Maryland.
Yeah, and that's the more costly thing for Pat Fitzgerald is this game's over. But that game next week with Maryland, that'll be a dogfight. And they're not going to have 2 of their best players on defense in the first half.
First and goal from the 5. Fake it to Sanders. Now throw it to him. And could not connect on that one. How about throwing the pass to Barkley? Is that
stats?
That's what I mean. And so the coaches, not just the head coach, offensive coordinator, you know, his number, he's not want to get him to 100 yards.
There's a fine line.
Want to get something spectacular on tape, want to show it on SportsCenter all night long.
And, you know, part of that I agree with, part of it I don't agree with, right? And yes, you want to help a guy that's in a conversation to get a Heisman. You want to give him opportunities, and he hasn't had as many opportunities today running the football. But you got to be smart, too.
Here's McSorley running into the end zone untouched, making it look easy. Wow. All Nittany Lions here this afternoon.
Good for McSorley, right? This game was put on his shoulders. There was no question that Pat Fitzgerald, Northwestern, was going to make Trace McSorley beat them today. He did it through the air with his arm, and I think he just capped off his day with a 5-yard touchdown run to put Penn State up 30-0.
Extra point is good. We'll step out. Wildcats stepped out a long time ago. 31-0.
By Walmart. Walmart. Save money. Live better. In part by Pacific Life. Experience the power of Pacific. And Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Trace McSorley. The rush touchdown there. He prepares for the game. The coaching staff is so impressed with McSorley's preparation. How he's really progressed in his second year in the offense under James Franklin, focusing on ball security, and McSorley's checked all those boxes here today, and a big part of the reason they have the 31-0 lead. Riley Lee's looking for any kind of offensive spark on the special teams. Well, you might be familiar with the actor and comedian Keegan-Michael Key. He closely resembles James Franklin. He paid a surprise visit to the team, impersonating the coach.
That's a good-looking dude right there, man. Good-looking dude.
Guys, if I want to create a play, and I want you to create a big play, we're going to get out there, we're going to create a big play. It's one game at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 play at a time. Hey, absolutely, man. You guys, my pleasure. My pleasure. Absolutely. Me too, man.
We asked him about the impression. And, of course, Keegan-Michael Key is a alum of Penn State. Yeah. Done a lot of team events. But Franklin said he got 50 nasty messages at one point, thinking that Keegan-Michael Key actually was him with what he was saying about the opponents.
Oh, on the game day.
Yes,
Yeah, on the game day.
A couple of weeks ago in New York City when game day was there. I mean, that's how much he closely resembles him.
Get in there and just, spout out as many cliches as you possibly can, and then you got it, right?
One play at a time. Mike Alviti is in at quarterback. They give Clayton Thorson the rest of the day off. It's been a tough afternoon for Thorson. Hit every time he looked up. Had some struggles with interceptions.
Not a lot of windows to throw
early
into.
fumble.
Yeah.
Guy's not creating space for him to throw to. Finished 19 of 36 for 142 yards with 2 picks, 1 coming at the end of the half. And there was the fumble early in the first half as well. On 3rd down and 8, Alviti to throw. And some good coverage there. Looking for Riley Lee's Grant Haley. Had the excellent coverage for Penn State.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of day Clayton Thorson wanted to have. A lot of people are talking about Clayton Thorson and his size, prototypical size for the next level, and he's got a good enough arm. And a lot of pressure on him today. Trevor Siemian was here, the quarterback for the Denver Broncos and Northwestern grad. He was an honorary captain today, so not the kind of day that Clayton Thorson wanted to have with Trevor Siemian back watching the game.
7th punt so far, and right up the middle, DeAndre Tompkins. There is a flag down as Tompkins takes it all the way to the end zone. The signal is touchdown. We'll check the flag. It's back at the 43. If it stands, it would be a 74-yard punt return for a score and add to the agony.
During the kick, holding, return team number 23, 10 yards from the end of the kick, 1st down Penn State, timeout.
So it will come back. Something goes Northwestern's way. The rest of it is all Penn State. You're watching college football on ABC, presented by Walmart. Back with Penn State. Took that touchdown off the board. Would have been a punt return, holding on the punt return. against the Nittany Lions. So it remains 31-0, and Tommy Stevens is in at quarterback. We've seen Stevens in a variety of instances this afternoon. Looks like by the handshakes, Trace McSorley's day is done, and a well-deserved break. Like Stevens was throwing that to avoid the loss. Deshaun Hamilton. Take a look at our Pacific Life game summary.
I think it's been a great combination offensively. McSorley throwing the football. You see 245 yards passing. A very efficient day. No turnovers from him. And then defensively, Penn State forcing those 3 turnovers. Only 185 yards given up to Northwestern. And it's a Northwestern team that has a veteran signal caller in Clayton Thorson. They shut them down today.
Northwestern has accounted for just 19 yards in the second half. They got a lot to work on, a lot to clean up. Here's Stevens to throw underneath Blacknall. And he is bumped out of bounds.
I think Trace McSorley answered the questions that if somebody's going to focus on number 26, as most defenses are, and force him to beat them, that he's gamey enough that he can make these kinds of plays. He can make the throws on the outside. I felt like he was very patient, taking what the defense gave him, and it was on the perimeter, free access with his wide receivers. Just throw the hitch and let them make plays and be patient and protect the football, and that's going to be the recipe. Now, when they play a defense like Michigan, they're going to have a bye week, and then they're going to welcome Michigan into State College. It's going to be a very different look defensively from them because Michigan can play tight man-to-man coverage. They're not going to give you free access on the outside. And that front seven for Michigan can take away a Saquon Barkley. They did it last year. They were the only defense that truly bottled up this Penn State offense last year. And I know Don Brown will have that same kind of approach. So to me, that is the biggest remaining hurdle for Penn State in this coming month of October.
McSorley certainly has benefited from unbelievable starting field position today. I mean, quick man, they've started about the 40-yard line their last 7 or 8 possessions. Stevens will throw it aside. Their average starting field position for the game is at their own 37, but it's been even better. When I look at our chart, 48, 46, 45, 49, 49, all starting field position.
And that's that 3 turnovers.
That makes life a lot easier regardless of who your quarterback is. Did McSorley show you enough for the last-second touchdown at Iowa? That was a tough spot. He answered some questions there.
Yes. Well, you knew that he was a competitor. You knew that he was a gamer, right? That's what those are the words that come to mind first when we talk about McSorley. But efficient wasn't one of them, right? And this year, this game in particular, that's the word I would use to describe his performance.
Stevens is going to run for the first down and more, and he'll get out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Coming up on 5.5 to play here in the fourth. All Nittany Lions gain a 20 on the Stevens run.
How great is late October and November going to be in the Big Ten? I mean, all these big matchups in Penn State versus Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin still doing its thing. And it's really, there's so many questions still to answer, I think, with all of these teams. But we know who the teams are, and we get to see them all play in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, Todd, to me, Wisconsin has the easiest road to Indianapolis. I mean, their toughest games left are Iowa and Michigan, both at home. And Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, they're going to beat up on each other.
Stevens off the pump, and now he will be dropped back at the 18-yard line. We'll send it back to Cassidy Hubbard. Cassidy, thank you. This will go down as an impressive win. This is a conference game on the road. I don't know how much higher Penn State can go. They're already number 4. Can't go to 1-2, but 3's in some trouble this afternoon. As Stevens fires across the middle, and they can't hang on. Deshaun Hamilton could not hold on.
How big is that game? Oklahoma.
Huge.
When you talk about Oklahoma and the Big 12 and that win over Ohio State, You have to go back a while to remember basically the impression of an entire conference changing in one game when they just took it to Ohio State in Columbus. And now you've got TCU emerging. I don't think Oklahoma State's out of it, but Oklahoma is the team that everyone's looking for to finish at the top of the Big 12. And now they're struggling against a team they really should be struggling against in Iowa State.
Yeah, and it's their defense, Todd, that's letting them down. And, you know, you're right. West Virginia's another one to throw in that mix. They might scare TCU tonight.
Just too strong for Blacknell. That's the only matchup, the TCU game at home against West Virginia, that features 2 top 25 teams. 4th and goal upcoming.
But it's very conceivable that what happened last year in the Big Ten East could happen again, where Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State all beat each other, right? And then one of those teams goes to Indianapolis, like it happened last year, and then you have an Ohio State sitting there with 1 loss last year and goes to the playoff, right? And then they get stomped 31-0 by Clemson. You think that the committee will have that in the back of their mind, what happened last year, as they go on through the month of November.
And the one thing Penn State can't clean up, leading 31-0, is getting a field goal from 35 yards away for Tyler Davis. No good. All-State is proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. All-State has contributed millions in scholarship funds. Not for that field goal. 31-0. Penn State Nittany Lions looking to move up to number 3 in the country from their 4th spot. I'm anticipating a Cassidy Hubbard update very shortly. I don't know when it's going to happen, but my people are telling me, and as you know, I have people.
You have people every city we go to, you have somebody.
I know a guy. All right. Matt Alvidi running for first down yardage out to midfield. Don't go anywhere. Cassidy will have the update you've all been waiting for after this play. We haven't promoted games the way we promoted this update. Alvidi on the ground will keep it himself. Can't get it back to Cass fast enough.
And Alvidi, the ball carrier. Talking about Jake Cooper. 8 of 5 on the play, 2nd of 5 Northwestern on the Penn State. 47-9.
Cassidy, thank you. Wow. That team's in Norman, right?
5 straight possessions.
That game in
on
Norman? Oklahoma's at home. And Iowa State, we found out last night, would be without their starting quarterback.
Yeah, did not see that coming.
Told you somebody big was going down. Didn't know it was going to be that big. Incomplete. Alvidi's throw was on the money. Couldn't hook up with Green. Cameron Green out of that super back position. Good coverage by Jarvis Miller, and he's still shaking off the effects of that. Clock stopped, 2:44 left.
Play receiving attention for Penn State, number 9, Jarvis Miller.
All the highlights and scores all over the college football world. This is really a great time of year. The baseball playoffs going on too. NHL just underway. Stan and Linda will have Sports Center at night, immediately following the California-Washington game. See, the Pac-12, they don't like those late night starts. Apparently, they're down on those start times.
They're not down on the money.
No, they take the cash. apparently, they take the cash.
Yeah.
And they take the rating. We take the ratings. And they'll be playing late. Pac-12 after dark. On 2nd down and 10. Able to complete to Riley Lees. He's one of those young receivers we were told about. They're excited about the future at Northwestern. Haven't gotten him into the football today.
Yep, they need to get him more involved. They need to find somebody that can at least change direction and beat some man-to-man coverage. The other guy was Alex Olsner, who's a freshman. guy that they like coming into this season. And these guys are young, and I get it. I mean, Northwestern just doesn't have that big-time separator at the wide receiver position that can go out and make plays, and so they've got to manufacture it, but that's what they've been doing here a long time.
Gave Jesse Brown a carry, redshirt freshman. Alvidi the throw, down to the goal line is Jace James. Another one of those players we were told about.
James, that's another opportunity down the field. I'm impressed with Matt Alvidi on this drive. He used his legs for 2 big gains, and then now he's knocking on the door.
25 yards on that play. See if they give it to Jesse Brown. No, it's Alvidi. He'll carry it in. And there will be no shutout here in Evanston tonight. It's window dressing for sure, but in the box score tomorrow, there won't be a 0 on the scoreboard.
Well, Alvidi's a senior, been here a long time. And he's a gamer as well. Kind of built in the mold of Trace McSorley. And he uses his legs. And then he found Jace James on the seam route here. It was a nice throw. Didn't lead him into the safety. And then finished it off with the zone read on the 1-yard line. It was a nice drive.
Good for Alvidi, the senior from Park Ridge, Illinois.
He shanked the extra point, but it went through.
And if nothing else, the Wildcats can say they were not shut out on their home field here this afternoon. Penn State has already shut out 2 opponents this season. We mentioned the Georgia State shutout, 56-0, and they opened blanking Akron 52-0. Again, they'll go into their bye at 6-0. Saquon Barkley will be stuck on 75 yards. Does not sound spectacular, and he wasn't, other than one particular run, but he's putting in the work. Everywhere you look, Barkley is doing the work. The weight room, for example.
I looked at the running back board, and I said before I leave this place, I want every single top category in running back.
School record. That's impressive.
He wanted the top in every category for running backs. I figured he would need the top in a lot of different categories, right. Not just the running backs, maybe the linebackers, some of the defensive ends, maybe.
Look at this onside kick by Northwestern, trying to get another score on the board. Not the case. Penn State able to recover the onside kick.
I think he did 32 reps of 225 bench, which I don't know. Todd might know. Like at the combine, like that's like a defensive lineman.
Yeah, that's. The record's in the 50s, so for a running back, I mean, that's ridiculous.
600 pounds on the squat.
Yeah, that's much more important.
650. Sorry, I cheated him 50 pounds.
Todd, we were joking earlier. Where really do you have Barkley right now on your big board?
Number 2 overall. I think he's very likely to be a top 5 pick. Now there are a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks. We've got 3 quarterbacks this year: Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, that could wind up being early picks. But when you look at it, the running back position, it's tough to swallow that pill. But if you have the offensive line intact, or you're very close, and you want to be a power team and be able to run the football, and the versatility he brings adds another dimension, a lot like Ezekiel Elliott, what he did for that offense for the Cowboys. So it's going to be interesting to see who winds up in that top 5, but there's going to be a home for him very early in the draft.
I like him much better than Ezekiel Elliott, to be totally honest with you, Todd. And he's got more of a rounded skill set, and I think that the attitude, you know, you're not going to have to worry about Saquon Barkley off the field when he gets to the next level and he gets some money in the bank account, and his priorities aren't going to change.
And Todd, that kind of bucks in a recent NFL trend, right? In terms of drafting high running backs. Running backs aren't getting paid what they used to get paid. People don't trade for them or trade high draft picks anymore.
You've got to be elite. I mean, you've got to be the elite of the elite, and that's what we've seen. We went 2 years, 2013, 2014, without a back drafted in the first round. So everyone started saying, well, it's never going to happen again, and the value's not there. Listen, it's not there unless you've got a player that's that special that can make that big of a difference, and you're not going to get them. The shelf life is so short for these running backs because of the beating that they take. But we've seen Todd Gurley was special. He was a different back. Zeke Elliott's the same. Fournette, McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, all last year first-round picks because they're special, and we've seen early in the NFL season that they all are impact players.
There's Penn State still throwing the ball, looking for more. They got the first down, and that should do it now. The final 25 seconds. Came to see the Saquon Barkley show. Barkley carried 16 times for just 75 yards. Did rip off a 53-yard touchdown. One of 2 rushing touchdowns on the day for Barkley. But it is all Penn State here today. 4th-ranked Penn State. Should have a good chance to jump up to number 3. Don't see them breaking into the top 2. But the Nittany Lions did everything they were expected to do today, and maybe more here at Northwestern.
And they packed their defense, right? That's, you go on the road in an early game, yeah, you might not be hitting on all cylinders offensively, but defense travels, and we found out today against an offense for Northwestern that wasn't explosive, but they've been good, that Penn State's defense is legit.
31-7, your final score. Northwestern avoids the shutout on their final possession. The Nittany Lions improved to 6-0 heading into their bye. And here's Todd McShay.
Coach, Northwestern had a great game plan and executed it in terms of taking Saquon Barkley out of the game. How impressed were you with how Trace McSorley played and how you responded offensively?
Yeah, played really well. I mean, first of all, is our defense played lights out. Basically played shutout football for 4 quarters until we got the backups in there. Obviously, everybody's game plan each week is to overload the box and create one-on-ones on the edge, and we got enough players to do that. And Trace knows how to operate the offense, so that's where we can be difficult to defend. We still got to get better with the running game, though.
You get the week off, and then obviously the schedule keeps getting tougher and tougher in the Big Ten. What are the points of emphasis or areas you're going to keep working on and improve to take this team to another level?
For us, we're going to enjoy this win, this one, and then we'll worry about the next ones when they come.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you so much.
No, it's all good in the Penn State neighborhood. They win 31-7 here at Northwestern, certainly souring homecoming for the Wildcats. Grease, have a blast tonight in the big house.
Thanks, man. I will.
Should be awesome. Congratulations. That's the story from here. Send you back to the studio and our pal Kevin Nagano.